Chapter 3053. Dad, how is it? Did you kick Feng Shipian out of House Feng and fire at Lin Yi? Nitian asked expectantly when he saw Tianhu. Nitian, things aren't as simple as you think. Your grandpa said that a life for a life. With that, Feng Tianhu repeated Grandpa Feng's words to Nitian. Your grandpa isn't muddled. He knows that Feng Shipian is the only third-generation descendant of House Feng. If Feng Shipian is completely suppressed, what will happen to House Feng in the future? So, it's very difficult to use Grandpa Feng's hands to deal with Feng Shipian. Besides, Lin Yi is helping us, the ancient House Feng. And if your grandpa doesn't agree, then I can't mobilize a large number of masters to deal with Lin. Feng Shipian, I'm so pissed. Nitian gritted his teeth, but after a while his eyes lit up. Dad, tell me the truth. Other than me, do you have another son? You know all about it? Tianhu was taken aback as he looked at Nitian in shock. And I knew about it a long time ago, but I didn't think too much of it. After all, he wanted to raise me to be a part of House Feng. And that son, I guess, wants to help me in the future? That's right, Ren is a martial arts fanatic, and he doesn't really care about the power of the house. Of course, it's possible that he hasn't reached that level yet, and in his heart he's just an orphan that I took in. He wouldn't want to fight for anything. Feng, Tianhu nodded. If you get the position, I'll never tell him the truth, and I'll only let him be an elder of House Feng to help you. Dad, there's no need to explain all that, I understand. I'm crippled now, and I can't fight for the position of heir anymore. Can't we let your son take the position? I don't want to see Feng Shipian doing well. Nitian said, Unless there's something that can stop Feng Shipian from making a comeback. None of this is a big deal. Feng, Tianhu sighed, it's hard. Although Lin Yi is the one who hurt you. Lin Yi is Lin Yi, and Lin Yi is Feng Shiliang. Although Lin Yi is Feng Shiliang's boss, there are two of them. There's no way to push the blame onto Feng Shiliang. Feng Nitian's face darkened after hearing Feng Tianhu's words. It was true that dragging Feng Shipian down with just this was a difficult task, but Feng Nitian wasn't willing to let it go just like that. He wanted to compete for the position of young family leader and suppress Feng Shipian, which was why he had participated in the Ice Palace trials. He had seen Feng Shipian as his mortal enemy since he was young, but he did not have any feelings for his half-brother, who he had never met before. So he would rather let him take the position than let Feng Shipian do well. Besides, the most important thing was that Feng Shiliang was with Lin Yi. Feng Nitian didn't believe that Feng Shiliang didn't know that Lin Yi was the one who hurt him. But Feng Shiliang didn't report it, and even when the truth was exposed, he still protected Lin Yi. This made Feng Nitian furious. Dad, no matter what price I have to pay, I don't want Feng Shiliang to have a good life. I'd rather die than live in dishonor. Nitian, I know how you feel, but this isn't a matter of life and death. Even if we try our best to drag him down, we don't have any bargaining chips. Feng Tianhu, of course, wanted Feng Shiliang dead. As long as Feng Shiliang was dead, Feng Tianlin wouldn't have the heart to continue sitting on the position of heir. At that time, wouldn't it be a piece of cake for Feng Tianhu to get the position? But it was a good idea, but it couldn't be realized. Old Feng was very smart, and normal things wouldn't be able to send Feng Shiliang to the 18th level of hell. Dad, I have an idea. Suddenly, a vicious light flashed across Feng Nitian's eyes. What idea? Feng Tianhu paused. If I die, Feng Shiliang will never be able to rise again. Nitian gritted his teeth. I don't want to live anyways, but Dad, you have to be ruthless. Poison me and blame it on Feng Shipian. And even if Grandpa suspects you, the crime of murdering his own brother will be enough to make him lose the heir position. Nitian gritted his teeth. I don't want to live anymore. Nitian, you. Feng Tianhu's eyes widened. He didn't expect Feng Nitian to be this crazy, using this method to frame Feng Shiliang. This was too ruthless. using his own life to harm others. Dad, you don't have to say anything. I've made up my mind. Feng Nitian waved his hand. I'm already a cripple, anyway. If I die a worthy death, I'll be able to ruin Feng Shiliang's life. Nitian, you have to understand that even if you die, you can't blame it on Feng Shiliang. Even if you're poisoned, it might not be because of the great recovery pill. How can you blame it on him? You'll lose your life for nothing. It's not worth it. We have to think about this. Feng Tianhu's mouth twitched. Feng Nitian had gone crazy. He had reached a level where he would do anything for revenge. It was scary. Hee, Dad, think about it. If Feng Shiliang comes to see me, and I take the poison, and I scream, Feng Shiliang, why did you poison me? Did Lin Yi send you? What would happen? Feng Nitian smiled darkly. At that time, even if Grandpa doesn't believe it, he'll be suspicious. I'm afraid that Feng Shiliang won't have the heir position anymore. Then you can push out my brother that I've never met before, and Grandpa would be more than happy to let him be the heir, right? But that way, Nitian, you'll be sacrificing too much. All the benefits will go to Ran, and I. Your death is not worth it at all. Feng Nitian was moved. He had to admit that this father and son duo were both ruthless. How is it not worth it? As long as Feng Shiliang dies, I'll be satisfied, Feng Nitian said. Dad, after I die, you have to help me get revenge on Lin Yi, kill him, and let me die a worthy death. All right, I promise you. Feng Tianhu gritted his teeth and nodded. Don't worry, I'll help you ruin Feng Shiliang's reputation and kill Lin Yi. Chapter 3054. There was no meaning in living anymore, and it would only lead to a twisted mentality. It was dinner time, and logically speaking, Feng Nitian should be at the table after he woke up. After all, this dinner was specially prepared to celebrate Feng Nitian's recovery. But when the dishes were laid out and everyone was about to sit down, Feng Nitian didn't show up. Feng Tianhu walked over with a worried face. Father, Nitian isn't in a good mood. His arms are broken, and he can't practice heaven-defying arts anymore. He feels guilty and doesn't dare to come for dinner. Oh, Elder Feng paused. What's there to feel guilty about? Tianhu tried to persuade him again. Even without arms, he can still cultivate external mental cultivation methods. We, the ancient Feng family, can still find some external mental cultivation methods. When the time comes, he will still be able to achieve something. These words were actually a little hollow and pale. Without an arm, if he continued to cultivate external techniques, how far could he reach? Plus, Feng Nitian was past the best age to practice physical arts. Even if he practiced, he wouldn't be able to do much. He could strengthen his body, but it would be hard for him to step into the golden class. Someone like Faubert, who had both arms, was only a golden class master after so many years of practice. One could only imagine how hard it was to turn from the inside to the outside. So Feng Tianhu smiled bitterly. Father, I tried to convince him, but he's afraid that Shi Shui will laugh at him, so why would I laugh at him? Shi Shui paused. How about this, Shi Shui, you go talk to Nitian. Elder Feng said after some thought. All right. Shi Shui didn't suspect anything. He walked out of the dining room and went to Nitian's room. He knocked on the door. Nitian, it's me. Oh, cousin, come in. The door isn't locked, Nitian said. Feng Shipian pushed the door open and entered Nitian's room. He was just about to say a few words to Nitian when he realized that Nitian's face was a little red. Heaven-defying your complexion. Feng Shipian was startled and hurriedly asked, Cousin, I'm fine. I just woke up, so I'm a little hot. Nitian consumed the poison and calculated the time of his death. At this moment, he had Feng Tianhu's internal strength suppressing it, so the poison would take a longer time to act up. Oh, I see. Shipian nodded. If Nitian had just woken up, then his face would be red. Normally, people who had just woken up would have a red face. Cousin, tell me the truth. I was able to practice the heaven-defying arts, and I was the most famous person in the younger generation of house phone. Have you ever been jealous of me? Have you ever wanted to kill me? Nitian asked, How is this possible? The more powerful you are, the happier I will be. The prosperity of our clan doesn't belong to one person, but to everyone. Only when everyone has strength can our ancient phone clan be called the ancient phone clan. Otherwise, we'll just be rogue cultivators. Feng Shipian shook his head and said resolutely, Really? How selfless of you. Nitian seemed to have expected Feng Shipian to say this, but I think you're waiting for something to happen to me, and when that happens, you'll be able to take over, right? Nitian, how could you think like that? If I really wanted something to happen to you, why would I take the risk to help you get the great recovery pill? Shipian shook his head. That's hard to say. Nitian's face was red as he coughed. Feng Shipian, my cousin, you know that Lin Yi is the one who injured me, and you still call him boss. What are you planning? Nitian's face was red as he coughed. Feng Shipian, my cousin, you know that Lin Yi is the one who injured me, and you still call him boss. What are you planning? Do you dare say that you didn't know about this? Feng Shipian was silent. Nitian was right. He knew that it was Lin Yi who injured Nitian, but Feng Shipian knew Nitian's personality very well. If he didn't act tough first, he wouldn't be injured. But as a member of the Feng clan, how could he say this? Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Brother, can you get me a glass of water? I'm thirsty. Nitian pointed at the glass on the table. Okay. Feng Shipian nodded and took the glass on the table. I don't have hands. I'll have to rely on you to feed me. Nitian said, That's not a problem. Shipian carefully put the glass next to Nitian's mouth and let him drink. But after drinking the water, Feng Nitian waved his hand, signaling that he had drunk enough. Shipian put the cup back, but before he could turn around, he saw Feng Nitian spit out a mouthful of blood, staining the sheets and quilt red. The blood was all over the floor. There's poison in the water. Cousin, why did you do this to me? Nitian shouted, I know, it must be Lin Yi. Lin Yi asked you to kill him, right? Nitian, what are you talking about? What's wrong with you? Shipian was shocked. Feng Shipian, you killed me. I'm not done with you. Nitian shouted before his eyes rolled back and he breathed his last. Nitian's voice was very loud and not far away in the dining room of House Feng. Everyone heard it clearly. Feng Tianhu's face changed. Feng Tianlin's face changed as well, and even Elder Feng's face changed. The three of them rushed into Nitian's room, and Shipian, on the other hand, was staring at the dead Nitian on the bed. How did Nitian die just like that? How did he die after drinking a mouthful of water? Nitian, what's wrong? Feng Tianhu was the first to rush into the room and saw Nitian on the bed with blood all over his mouth. He quickly hugged him and said angrily, Nitian, what's wrong with you? Why are you vomiting blood? Shipian, what's going on? Feng Tianlin ran into the room and asked Shipian. Father, I don't know what's going on. Nitian said he wanted to drink water, so I fed him a cup, and after he drank it, he vomited blood. Shipian didn't know what to do. Things were out of his expectations, and he didn't know what to do. Tianhu, my condolences. Nitian is gone. Elder Feng walked over and checked on Nitian's condition. Nitian was dead, and he knew that there was nothing he could do. So he sighed and said to Feng Tianhu. Chapter 3055. He sounded like he was about to cry. Against the Heavens was fine just now. Why did he leave in such a short time? How is this possible? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Feng Shipian was a bit awkward. Nitian died in front of him, and although he wasn't responsible for it, he didn't know what to say. He could only speak carefully. Yeah, third uncle, we should figure out what happened to Nitian. Shipian, tell us, did you kill Nitian? Feng Tianhu glared at Feng Shipian and yelled, We heard everything that Nitian shouted just now. Don't deny it. Tell us, did you kill Nitian? Feng Shipian snorted. Feng Tianhu's question made Elder Feng and Feng Tianlin turn to look at Feng Shipian. Elder Feng was confused as well. He heard what Nitian said, so he wanted to see what Feng Shipian had to say. Feng Tianlin, on the other hand, believed that Feng Shipian couldn't have killed Nitian, but the problem was that others didn't believe him. Third uncle, don't be agitated. How could I kill Nitian? Feng Shipian smiled bitterly. Nitian wanted to drink water, so I gave it to him who knew. You mean Nitian died on his own? It has nothing to do with you? Feng Tianhu snapped. This, third uncle, what I mean is I don't know how Nitian died, but it has nothing to do with me. Feng Shipian said with certainty. Nothing to do with you? I'll believe you just because you said it? I only believe my son. He said that the water was poisoned, and it was you who killed him. Feng Tianhu smiled coldly and looked at Elder Feng. Father! Feng Shipian murdered his own brother. What's the punishment? Tianlin, what do you think? Grandfather Feng also had a headache. He wasn't a detective, and he couldn't tell who was right or wrong in this matter. He couldn't find someone to solve the case, so he could only rely on his own opinion and ask others. Tianhu, you said it yourself, the water is poisoned. Does it mean that Shipian poisoned the water? Can't the water be poisoned from the start? Feng Tianlin looked at Feng Tianhu and asked, Poisoned from the start? How is this possible? Are you saying that I poisoned the water to kill Defying Tian? Feng Tianhu asked ferociously. That's hard to say. Feng Tianlin shook his head. I didn't say it. You said it yourself. Even a vicious tiger will not eat its cubs. How could I harm my son? I'm a moron. Feng Tianhu said angrily. Feng Tianlin, are you saying that you can also poison Feng Shipian, and father can also poison the two of us? Elder Feng frowned slightly. He knew Feng Tianhu's personality. It wasn't impossible for Feng Tianhu to push the blame onto Feng Shipian to suppress Feng Tianlin and Feng Shipian. After all, Feng Tianhu had been doing these things secretly all these years. Although Grandpa Feng didn't say anything and turned a blind eye, he knew that Feng Tianhu could do anything. He colluded with Feng Tianlin's wife, persecuted Feng Tianlin's first girlfriend, and repeatedly laid his hands on Feng Tianlin's illegitimate daughter. Grandpa Feng knew all of this, but he couldn't do anything about it. A house needed competition to develop. Without competition, there would be no sense of danger. Besides, Feng Tianlin's wife had a powerful background as well. She was the young miss of the ancient Dongfang house. The ancient Dongfang house was much stronger than the ancient Feng house, so the young miss of the Dongfang house had always been a powerful presence in the house. Even Grandpa Feng had to give her some face, but at this moment, everyone had their reasons. Feng Shipian was suspected to be the murderer, but in Grandpa Feng's eyes, Feng Nitian was a suspect as well. This cup of water was placed here. Feng Shipian came later. Tianhu, it's reasonable for me to suspect you. If you had placed a cup of poisonous water here, you could have framed Feng Shipian. Feng Tianlin said, How is that possible? How could I know that Defying Tian must drink water, and it must be when Feng Shipian went to see him? How could it be so coincidental? You're bullshitting. Feng Tianhu said, Do you think this is logical? How is it not logical? But before Feng Tianlin could finish, Grandpa Feng's voice rang out. The water. There's no poison. Grandpa Feng picked up the cup and sniffed it for a long time. He came to a conclusion, but his face was a little ugly. Only the mouth of the cup there's some poison, and only a small part of the side. This. Feng Shipian's face changed. This meant that the evidence was against him. There was no poison in the cup, which meant that the poison must have been smeared on the mouth of the cup, but only a small part of it. What did this mean? This meant that the person who poisoned him knew that Nitian wanted to drink water, and he even knew which side of the cup he wanted to drink from. other than Feng Shipian, who could smear the poison on the side of Nitian's cup when he picked it up. Who else could do this? Of course, what Feng Shipian didn't know was that Feng Nitian smeared the poison on his lips. When he drank the water, he rubbed his lips twice when Feng Shipian wasn't paying attention. Feng Shipian, Feng Tianlin, what else do you want to say? Who poisoned him this time? Feng Tianhu roared. Grandpa, I didn't poison him. Feng Shipian knew that the evidence was against him, but he still defended himself. He didn't want to be killed for no reason. If it wasn't you, then who could it be? Grandpa Feng only believed in his own observation. As far as he was concerned, Feng Tianhu couldn't have poisoned Nitian unless he knew the art of divination. Otherwise, how could he know that Nitian wanted to drink water? And how could Feng Shipian pick up the cup and give the poisoned side to Nitian? This wasn't realistic at all. If it wasn't Feng Tianhu, then who could it be? It couldn't be that Nitian killed himself, could it? Who would kill themselves for no reason? This was the most likely possibility, but it was eliminated as the most impossible. As far as everyone was concerned, there was no reason for Nitian to kill himself. Since he was embarrassed to see Feng Shipian, it meant that he still had a sense of shame. How could he kill himself just like that? Moreover, he committed suicide. Who gave him the poison? He didn't even have an arm. How could he take poison? Chapter 3056. Feng Tianlin was frowning as well. He didn't believe that Feng Shipian was the killer, but he couldn't find a reason to object. Shipian, tell Grandpa the truth. Did you do it? If you admit it now, I'll let you off lightly otherwise. Elder Feng seemed to have aged a few years in an instant. Although the fight for power in the family was heating up, Feng Tianhu couldn't kill Feng Shipian and Feng Tianlin in public. As for the illegitimate daughter and lover, they weren't considered part of the Feng family since they didn't return to the family. It was an unspoken rule to kill them. No. Feng Shipian knew that this answer would disappoint his grandpa. Who would believe him in a situation like this? But Feng Shipian still shook his head, denying it without hesitation. No, the rim of the cup is just right for you to have poisoned it. Only you could have done this. Old Master Feng sighed and said, Good, very good. Tianlin, lock the poem in the west wing. I'll think about it before making a decision. Yes. Feng Tianlin had no choice but to nod. Father, Nitian died so tragically you have to help him. He just woke up, and he still wanted to fight for the position of the young head. But he died, just like that. What a shame. Feng Tianhu added oil to the fire, pointing out that Nitian still wanted to fight for the position of heir. This was the reason why Feng Shipian poisoned him. I said, lock Shipian up first. I'll think about it and make a decision. Elder Feng waved his hand. He couldn't kill Feng Shipian to avenge Nitian. After all, House Feng only had one grandson left. And if he died, there would be no heir for the ancient house. Yes. Feng Tianhu nodded his head in sorrow. He picked up Nitian's body and cried, Nitian, look, open your eyes and see. Grandpa is here for you. He won't let the murderer go. Feng Tianlin didn't believe that his son was the killer, but things were too complicated. If Feng Tianhu wasn't the killer, then who was? Who would frame Psalm? Old Master Feng shook his head, waved his hand, and said, Disperse, the banquet is cancelled. It was supposed to be a celebratory banquet, but with Nitian's death it was cancelled. The entire ancient House Feng fell into sorrow. Feng Tianlin sent Feng Shiliang to the West Room. Although Feng Shiliang was under house arrest and wasn't allowed to go out, Feng Tianlin was still allowed to visit. Therefore, after Feng Tianlin sent Feng Shiliang in, he directly sat opposite Feng Shiliang. Shipang, tell me, are you the one who killed Nitian? Feng Tianlin was also curious, so he lowered his voice and asked, Tell me the truth. I will never harm you. Dad, don't you know my personality? If I had harmed him back then, why would I have gone to ask for the great recover pill for him? Shipian smiled bitterly. But the whole family doesn't believe me now. They all think that I killed Nitian. But why did I kill him? I risked my life to ask for the pill to save him, and then I killed him. Didn't I have nothing better to do? Plus, he's a cripple now. There's no conflict of interest between us. If I killed him, wouldn't I be looking for trouble for myself? That's true, I think so too. But your grandpa already suspects you. Feng Tianlin sighed. This doesn't seem to be done by Tianhu, so who did it? Dad, I do have a suspect. Feng Shiliang calmed down and thought about it carefully, thinking of some clues. Oh, who? Feng Tianlin was overjoyed and quickly asked. As long as they could find the suspect, Feng Shiliang's crime would be cleared, and Feng Shiliang might even get back his position as the heir of the house. It's Nitian himself. Feng Shiliang said word by word. What? Nitian himself? Feng Tianlin was taken aback. How could it be him? When I came in, his face didn't look normal, and he said a bunch of weird things to me. With that, Feng Shiliang repeated what Nitian said to him. If that's the case, it's possible that Feng Nitian took the poison himself and framed you. Feng Tianlin was enlightened. But where did Feng Nitian get the poison from? And he doesn't have hands. How did he take it? I'm afraid it's third uncle's cooperation. Feng Shiliang thought about it and analyzed. Nitian probably had the poison in his mouth, and that's why his face looked weird, but he didn't take it, so the poison didn't act up. Maybe third uncle used his pure qi to suppress it, so he was able to hold on for a while, and then he drank water and swallowed most of the poison in his mouth, and that's why he died. The poison on this cup was smeared on Nitian's lips. Although we've analyzed it, what's the point? Feng Tianlin couldn't help but sigh. Your grandpa won't believe you. Nitian's dead and there's no proof. If you keep talking about this, he'll think that you're making it up to get out of this. Dad, it's fine, I'll stay here, I'll just treat it as training. Feng Shiliang was quite open-minded, and he could only take it one step at a time. And don't worry, Shiliang, I'll do my best to get you out of this, Feng Tianlin said. At the same time, in Feng Tianlin's place, Feng Tianhu appeared. Just when everyone thought that Feng Tianhu was going to carry Nitian's body back and cry his heart out, Feng Tianhu appeared here. Sister-in-law. Feng Tianhu's face, other than the pain from before, was now extremely dark. He walked in front of a noble lady and called out, Tianhu, why are you here? The noble lady was startled. She was Feng Shiliang's mother, Dongfang Xiaocui. Just now, the news of Feng Shiliang killing Nitian had reached Dongfang Xiaocui through her servants. So she was surprised to see Feng Tianhu here. Are you here to punish me? Chapter 3057. What? Tianhu, what do you want to say? Dongfang Xiaocui asked. I know, my life is over. I don't have anything left to think about. I want to take revenge on Shan, but I don't dare. Even if I dare to offend Big Brother, I don't dare to offend you. Feng Tianhu said, Right now, I just want to avenge Nitian and let him rest in peace. I also know that Shan is the only bloodline left in the Feng family. No matter what, father won't do anything to him. So Nitian died for nothing. I said, Tianhu, what do you want to say? Dongfang Xiaocui wasn't happy with her husband protecting Su Shirhan, but Shan was her son. Of course, she wasn't happy that Feng Tianhu was talking about her son. Even if they used to work together, she wouldn't be nice to Feng Tianhu. Are you complaining to me? So what if Shan killed him? He's the grandson of the Dongfang family. How can you punish him just because you say so? To be honest, the Feng family doesn't have that ability. Of course. Sister-in-law, I didn't say I want to deal with Shan. Feng Tianhu said bitterly. Sister-in-law, let me finish. I mean, I can't do anything to Shan, but I want to deal with my second brother. You want to deal with Tianlin? Do you think that's possible? Dongfang Xiaocui naturally liked Feng Tianlin. If it wasn't for that, Why would she be so jealous and want to kill Su Shirhan and her mother? No, what I mean is, I want to deal with Su Shirhan. As long as Su Shirhan dies, my second brother will definitely be sad. Then I'll achieve my goal. Feng Tianhu said, I just want him to be sad. I lost a child, so he has to die too. Otherwise, the hatred in my heart won't be appeased. /Oh, you mean you want to deal with Su Shirhan? Dongfang Xiaotsui paused. She wasn't as conflicted as before. She nodded. Then what do you plan to do? Feng Tianhu's suggestion moved Dongfang Xiaotsui. After all, Su Shirhan was someone she had always wanted to kill. Feng Tianlin secretly cared about Su Shirhan, and it made Dongfang Xiaotsui very angry. How could she let go of such an opportunity? Besides, Nitian was most likely killed by his own son, Feng Shipian. If Feng Tianhu refused to let it go, even the Dongfang family wouldn't be able to interfere with the Feng family's matters. After all, this was their private matter. Dongfang Xiaotsui was just trying to scare Feng Tianhu. Now, Feng Tianhu said that killing Su Shirhan would appease his anger, a life for a life. This couldn't be any better. Thinking of this, Dongfang Xiaotsui nodded. To be honest, she was also afraid that Feng Tianhu would pester Feng Shipian about the murder. The barefooted were not afraid of those who wore shoes. If Feng Tianhu went crazy and wanted to blow things up, then Feng Shipian would probably lose a layer of skin, even if he didn't die. This was not what Dongfang Xiaotsui wanted to see. Before, she was a little wary of working with Feng Tianhu. Although Dongfang Xiaotsui was jealous, she still knew how to protect her son. How could Dongfang Xiaotsui not know that Nitian wanted to fight for the young head position? So when working with Feng Tianhu, she always held back. But it was different now. Feng Nitian was dead, and Feng Shipian was the only third-generation descendant of House Feng. In the future, Elder Feng would definitely choose him as the young head. This was why Dongfang Xiaotsui was willing to work with Feng Tianhu calmly. Second sister-in-law, you know that Nitian has just died. Second brother will definitely be on guard against me. Once I mobilize the Feng family's men, he will definitely find out. At that time, I'm afraid that it will be self-defeating. Big brother will find out about our plan before we even take action. So, I'm thinking if we can let the Dongfang family take action this time. Feng Tianhu's plan was to let Dongfang family deal with Su Shirhan, and when Su Shirhan died, Feng Tianlin would know that his wife killed his daughter. Then there would definitely be a gap between him and Dongfang Xiaotsui, and it would disturb his mental state. That would be the first blow. The second blow was that after killing Su Shirhan, Feng Tianhu wouldn't give up. After so many years of careful investigation, he had found out about Feng Tianlin's first love. The second step was to let Dongfang Xiaotsui's people take action and kill Feng Tianlin's first love. If he killed Feng Tianlin's first love first, then after Feng Tianlin and Dongfang Xiaotsui's relationship turned sour, Dongfang Xiaotsui might let Su Shirhan go. After all, that bitch was already dead, leaving only a child. She couldn't compete with Dongfang Xiaotsui for anything. Plus, she was a girl and wouldn't threaten Feng Shipian's position in the family. Dongfang Xiaotsui might let it go in order to not make Feng Tianlin angry. However, Feng Tianlin's first love was different. Even if Feng Tianlin and Dongfang Xiaotsui had a bad relationship because of Su Shirhan, Dongfang Xiaotsui would still kill Su Shirhan's mother. Feng Tianhu had already grasped Dongfang Xiaotsui's jealousy very well. This woman would never allow Su Shirhan's mother to live. Since they've already fallen out with Feng Tianlin, if Su Shirhan's mother didn't die and let Feng Tianlin and her get back together, then what would Dongfang Xiaotsui do? However, when Dongfang Xiaotsui made her move the second time, Feng Tianhu would intentionally or unintentionally leak the news to Feng Tianlin. Although Feng Tianlin knew about it, he couldn't stop it. The only thing he could do was to send someone to stop it. Who should he send? In the ancient Feng family, Feng Tianlin was the same as Feng Tianhu. There was a limit to the number of masters he could use. The stronger masters were all controlled by Old Man Feng. Feng Tianlin couldn't personally protect Su Shihan's mother, so he could only send Feng Shipian. This way, he could pretend to cooperate with Dongfang Xiaotsue and send people or hire assassins from Yellow Spring sect to kill Feng Shipian. This was the third attack. Su Shihan, Su Shihan's mother, and Feng Shipian were all dead. Feng Tianhu didn't believe that no matter how strong Feng Tianlin was, he would still have the heart to care about some family matters. As long as he was dispirited, then Feng Tianhu could take advantage of the situation and find a suitable opportunity to push his son, Feng Yiran, in front of old Master Feng, and let Feng Yiran succeed. After Feng Yiran ascended and became the successor of the young patriarch, wouldn't the position of the young patriarch belong to him, Feng Tianhu? Chapter 3058. This plan was closely linked to each other. It could not be said that it was not sinister. However, with Dongfang Xiaotsue's intelligence, she would never have thought of so much. She would never have thought that her crazy jealousy would cause her to cooperate with Feng Tianhu and personally prepare to push her son and husband into the abyss. From Dongfang Xiaotsue's perspective, no one would be able to threaten her position if they were all dead. Dongfang family? That's not impossible. Dongfang Xiaotsue thought about it. But if you let Dongfang family do it, you have to keep it a secret. I don't want Tianlin to know that it was me. Of course, sister-in-law, we've worked together so many times. You still don't trust me? Don't worry, as long as Su Shihan is dead, then the scar in my heart will be healed. I won't have anything to worry about anymore. I won't stop Shi Mei from taking over. And you said it. I'll remember it. If you go back on your words, our Dongfang family won't let you go. Dongfang Xiaotsue threatened. Of course, of course. Feng Tianhu laughed coldly inside. Dongfang family? No matter how strong you were, you wouldn't start a war with the ancient Feng family for Dongfang, Xiaotsue's daughter. After all, every ancient family or sect had their own rules. If an outsider interfered, didn't that mean that anyone could interfere? These rules were all hidden, and no one would break them. All right, I got it. I'll arrange for a few Earth class, late phase, peak masters to go. Dongfang Xiaotsue said. That's good. Sister-in-law, I'll be leaving now. Feng Tianhu didn't dare linger. If Feng Tianlin came back and saw him plotting with Dongfang Xiaotsue, then his plan wouldn't be able to continue. Feng Tianlin came back not long after Feng Tianhu left. Dongfang Xiaotsue put down her phone and pretended to be very concerned. Tianlin, I heard that something happened to Shi Mei. What happened? Is she all right? Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Feng Tianlin clearly didn't want to say too much. He still didn't trust Dongfang Xiaotsue. This woman had brought people to beat up Su Shihan's mother. How could Feng Tianlin trust her? It was just that Dongfang Xiaotsue's identity made him helpless, and Dongfang Xiaotsue truly loved him. Other than Su Shihan's matter, she performed well in everything else, so Feng Tianlin had been with her until now. It's great that you're fine. Dongfang Xiaotsue heaved a sigh of relief, and then she said, Tianlin, we haven't been intimate in a long time. I'm going to take a bath. Then Dongfang Xiaotsue winked at Feng Tianlin and walked towards the bathroom. Dongfang Xiaotsue was trying her best to please Feng Tianlin. If Su Shihan died and Feng Tianlin found out, what would Dongfang Xiaotsue do? So she wanted to please Feng Tianlin in advance. Even if Feng Tianlin found out, he wouldn't be able to do anything about it. She was prepared to crazily please Feng Tianlin these few days. One had to say that Dongfang Xiaotsue took good care of herself. She was the young miss of the ancient Dongfang family. The Dongfang family was also one of the strongest families in the ancient era. They also had a few face-preserving pills. Although Dongfang Xiaocui wasn't a sky-class master, she still used the pill, so she was still quite beautiful. She also had the elegance and charm of a mature woman. That flirtatious look made Feng Tianlin's lower body burn. Feng Tianlin wasn't in a good mood. It was good to vent it out with Dongfang Xiaocui. He took a deep breath and took off his clothes, preparing to take a bath. But at this time, Dongfang Xiaocui's phone rang. Do. If it was any other time, Feng Tianlin wouldn't be in the mood to look at Dongfang Xiaocui's phone. But today, maybe because he was in a bad mood, he picked up Dongfang Xiaocui's phone and read the message. Got it, little sister. I've been wanting to send people to deal with her for a long time. Not Weak is interested in her. I'll let Not Weak bring people to deal with her. We'll play with her first, then kill her. The person who replied was Dongfang Xiaocui's big brother, Dongfang Jinxing. Not Weak was his younger son, Dongfang Bushui. His eldest son, Dongfang Bushui, died in the heavenly elixir sex trial. Feng Tianlin knew about it, but he didn't have much contact with the Dongfang family, so he didn't ask much. But at this moment, Dongfang Jinxing's message made Feng Tianlin confused. Who was Dongfang Bushui interested in? Who was he going to deal with? What play with her first, then kill her? Out of curiosity, Feng Tianlin read the text messages between Dongfang Xiaocui and Dongfang Jinxing. However, as soon as he read them, cold sweat started dripping down his forehead. His eyes were spitting fire. The text messages from before had infuriated him to no end. Because the previous message was Dongfang Xiaocui asking Dongfang Jinxing to deal with Su Shihan. She even asked Dongfang Jinxing to send a group of Earth-class masters to deal with Su Shihan. This made Feng Tianlin sweat. Dongfang Xiaocui. Feng Tianlin's eyes were spitting fire. Although the message wasn't much, it was a big deal. Feng Tianlin's previous thoughts were all gone. He owed Su Shihan a lot. Plus, as the young master, he couldn't let Su Shihan return to the Feng family. He couldn't let her return to the Feng family. He couldn't let her return to the family. Now that Feng Tianlin knew that Dongfang Xiaocui wanted to kill Su Shihan, he was furious. He didn't take good care of Su Shihan. He couldn't give her fatherly love. He even caused her to be separated from her mother at a young age. Her mother's life and death were unknown. This was enough to make Feng Tianlin sad. How could he tolerate what happened today? While Feng Tianlin was fuming with anger, Dongfang Xiaocui had already finished her shower and walked out of the bathroom. She didn't know that Feng Tianlin already knew about her plan to assassinate Su Shihan. She even said to Feng Tianlin gently, "Tianlin, it's your turn to shower. I'll wait for you on the bed." Wait? Wait for my daughter to be killed by you? Feng Tianlin said coldly. Tianlin, what are you talking about? What do you mean by your daughter being killed? Dongfang Xiaocui jumped in fright. Her face turned pale, but she still argued, Tianlin, I don't understand what you're talking about. Didn't we agree that we were going to make out? Chapter 3059. Dongfang Xiaocui was completely dumbfounded. She was actually a woman without a mind of her own. Even if she wanted to kill someone, she didn't know how to hide it. She thought that Feng Tianlin wouldn't see her message, but she didn't expect him to really see it. She didn't know how to explain herself. Dongfang Xiaocui, I know that you've always wanted to kill Su Shihan, but she's innocent. No matter what, she's my daughter. She doesn't even know about all this. Why can't you tolerate her? She can't threaten your position, and she can't threaten Feng Shipian's position. Why do you have to chase after her? What Tianhu did before, I'm afraid it has something to do with you, right? Feng Tianlin wasn't stupid. He knew that Feng Tianhu was behind Su Shihan's assassination, but it was impossible to say that Dongfang Xiaocui wasn't involved. I'm sorry, Tianlin. Dongfang Xiaocui hated Su Shirhan, but she didn't want to ruin the relationship between husband and wife. Feng Tianlin's words made her feel that Su Shirhan's death wouldn't affect anything. A girl couldn't compete with Feng Shipian for the head of the house, and she wasn't Feng Tianlin's lover either. She was just the daughter of that lover, it didn't matter. But Dongfang Xiaocui was worried about Feng Shirhan's safety, so she could only tell Feng Tianlin why she wanted to kill Su Shirhan. Tianlin, listen to me. I'm doing this for Shirhan. For Shipian? Feng Tianlin frowned and asked coldly, What do you mean? What does it have to do with Shipian? Let's see what excuses you can come up with. It's like this. Tianhu said that Shipian killed Nitian, and he said that he wants to pay with his life. He wants to kill one of your children before he can be at ease. As long as Su Shirhan is dead, he won't pursue Shipian's crime anymore. Dongfang Xiaocui didn't dare hide anything and said what Feng Tianhu said. What a woman! Feng Tianlin didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he was more angry. You believe what he said? Do you have a brain? Feng Nitian wasn't killed by Feng Shipian. It wasn't a big deal in the first place. Even if he killed them, father wouldn't be able to do anything to him. He's the only bloodline left in the ancient Feng family. If he died, our ancient Feng family would be finished. Do you think that's possible? Dongfang Xiaocui stammered, not knowing what to say. Tell your brother to cancel this plan right now. Feng Tianlin yelled. Oh, okay. Dongfang Xiaocui quickly picked up her phone and dialed her brother Dongfang Jingxing's number. Little sister, did you receive my message? I told the old man about this matter, and he agreed. You should know that the old man doesn't care about his grandson anymore. He is very fond of him. He decided not to send an Earth rank expert and directly sent an early heaven rank expert. How about it? You should be relieved now, right? Su Shirhan, that little bitch, is dead for sure. Dongfang Jingxing picked up the phone and said excitedly before Dongfang Xiaocui could say anything. Dongfang Xiaocui froze and quickly said, Big brother, cancel this plan. Don't kill Su Shirhan. Don't send anyone. Little sister, what do you mean? Why did you cancel it? Dongfang Jingxing paused. Big brother, Tianlin found out. I don't want to fight with him, so cancel it. Dongfang Xiaocui still cared a lot about Feng Tianlin. Little sister, I'm telling you, Buqiu already knows about this. And so does our father. He's already ordered to send people, but you suddenly canceled it. Do you think Buqiu will just let it go? Do you think that father's words are just for show? Dongfang Jingxing changed the topic. I'm sure you know father's character, right? He's a man of his word, and no one can refute his words. Neither you nor I can. Besides, after Buqiu goes, the old man loves Buqiu a lot. Even if Buqiu wants the stars in the sky, the old man will think of a way. Do you think Buqiu will stop just because you cancelled it? You aroused his interest. The old man will make his wish come true, no matter what. This. Dongfang Xiaocui was dumbfounded. She understood Dongfang Jingxing's words. She knew the old man Dongfang's personality very well. Once the old man Dongfang made up his mind, he wouldn't change it. Moreover, it involved Dongfang Buqiu. This meant that the matter was set in stone, and there was no way to change it. Okay, little sister, you talk to brother-in-law. It's just an illegitimate daughter, let go. He doesn't want the old man to be unhappy, right? Dongfang Jingxing said. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up. You try to persuade him. Okay. Dongfang Xiaocui was helpless and could only hang up. The room was very quiet, so Feng Tianlin heard the conversation between Dongfang Jingxing and Dongfang Xiaocui clearly. He was a little lost. He didn't expect things to develop to this point. Now that old Master Dongfang had intervened, it wasn't something normal people could do anything about. Unless old Master Feng could make a phone call and mediate, there was no turning back. But the main problem was that Feng Tianlin couldn't ask old Master Feng for help. Su Shirhan hadn't returned to the family and she was a girl. Old Master Feng couldn't offend Old Master Dongfang for her. Also, when Feng Shipian was poisoning Nitian, Feng Tianlin, and Old Master Feng wouldn't ask Old Master Feng for help no matter what. Tianlin, I've tried my best, but my father, you know. Dongfang Xiaotsue looked at Feng Tianlin weakly. Humph. Feng Tianlin was so angry that he snorted coldly. You can't do anything right, old woman. Tianlin, I'm wrong. Dongfang Xiaotsue could only apologize carefully. Wrong? What's the use of being wrong? Feng Tianlin waved his hand impatiently and left the room. He was very annoyed. This matter was ruined by Dongfang Xiaotsue, and since he couldn't change it, he had to think of a countermeasure. Chapter 3060. So for this matter, either Feng Shipian did it himself, or he had to find a powerful bodyguard for Su Shirhan. San Huang was obviously not qualified. His strength was child's play in front of a heaven-class master. But Feng Shipian couldn't leave the Feng family. If he did, people who didn't know would think that he ran away. So Feng Tianlin could only help Su Shirhan find a bodyguard through other channels. Feng Tianlin more or less understood Dongfang Burui's personality. This kid was a devil incarnate. If he couldn't get what he wanted, then he would continue to pester others. So, if Su Shirhan didn't have a powerful bodyguard, then she would be in danger. But where could he find a heaven-class master to be a bodyguard? It had to be known that heaven stage experts had their own pride. Which heaven stage expert would be a bodyguard for a singer from the secular world? Even if this singer was the illegitimate daughter of the ancient Feng family, it was still not enough. Those heaven rank experts were all hanger-ons of some clans. Letting them carry out a mission once in a while and giving them the corresponding benefits was enough. But letting them be a bodyguard by one person's side, this was something that Feng Shipian couldn't do. Perhaps only when Old Master Feng personally gave the order would a few heaven-ranked elders of the family be allowed to become bodyguards. Feng Tianlin didn't have that power. However, Feng Tianlin had no other choice. He could only try anything in a desperate situation. He knew of a mission posting platform in the secular world. With an attitude of giving it a try, Feng Tianlin filled in his requirements on it. Bodyguard, heaven-class master. The protected target can follow the bodyguard. Move around in the city where the bodyguard is active. Monthly salary of 100 million. After thinking for a while, Feng Tianlin changed his requirements again and again. He tried to make the requirements as loose as possible. He knew that heaven-class masters had pride and temper. It wasn't realistic to expect him to follow behind Su Shirhan as a bodyguard. He could only let Su Shirhan follow by her side. Let Su Shirhan move her work to the city where the heaven-class masters could move around. This was also a form of respect to the heaven-class master, and the monthly salary of 100 million seemed like an astronomical figure. But it wasn't high at all, which families' hangers-on didn't take up more than this amount of resources. 100 million was still a small amount. It's just that he didn't know if heaven-ranked powerhouses would be able to see this kind of mission posting platform in the secular world. But Feng Tianlin was extremely anxious, so he could only use this method to post the mission. After all, in the ancient era, only the blood-clothed Yellow Spring sect could be hired. Although it was possible to hire them to kill people, it was impossible to hire them as bodyguards. However, what surprised Feng Tianlin was that in less than half an hour after his mission was posted, there was actually a response. The phone number he left actually rang. If the possibility of a wrong number was ruled out, this call was definitely from the person who had accepted the mission. This was because this was an infrequent phone number. There were almost no people who knew this phone number. Moreover, a call came in not long after the phone was turned on, so it could only be through the mission release platform. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin picked up the phone excitedly. "Hello! It's Mr. Su, right?" A deep male voice came from the other side of the phone. Yes, it's me. Feng Tianlin was even more excited. Mr. Su was a surname he casually made up on the mission posting website. It seemed that the other party was indeed calling for this matter. I can accept the mission conditions you proposed, but the monthly salary is a little low. Increase it a little. The other party went straight to the point. Feng Tianlin also knew that 100 million was really not a lot for a heaven-rank powerhouse, but he didn't have much private money either. He couldn't let the ancient Feng family pay for it, right? So, after hesitating for a moment, he said, "How about 150 million? Okay, 150 million. But I have to add some cultivation resources. Whatever I need, you have to do your best to help me find it." The other party thought about it and agreed. This is not a problem. As long as you do your best to protect my daughter, finding some cultivation resources is not a problem. Feng Tianlin agreed readily. To him, finding cultivation resources was easier than asking him to pay another 50 million. Then there's no problem. I'll accept your mission now, the other party said. Wait, how can I believe you? Are you a heaven-rank powerhouse? Feng Tianlin asked with some hesitation. It wasn't that Feng Tianlin was suspicious, but things were going too smoothly. Not long after he posted the mission, someone answered, and he even met the conditions. One must know that Feng Tianlin was looking for a heaven-rank powerhouse, not an ordinary assassin. He actually found one just like that. It made him feel a little unbelievable. I'm not a heaven-rank powerhouse, but the person I sent is a heaven-rank powerhouse in the early stage. The other party said, Oh, that's fine, but let's make it clear that if it's not a heaven-rank powerhouse in the early stage, I won't fulfill my promise. Feng Tianlin was afraid of encountering a scammer, so he declared in advance. Anyway, although Feng Sanhuang wasn't a very powerful master, he could distinguish a heaven-rank powerhouse. If the other party was a fake, Feng Sanhuang wouldn't confirm it, and Feng Tianlin wouldn't transfer the money to him. Okay, pay after we meet, the other party said very straightforwardly. Okay, then how do we contact him? Feng Tianlin asked. I will let him call you to set up a location. The other party said, Okay, I'll accept your mission. After that, the other party hung up the phone, and Feng Tianlin also saw that on the computer, the mission he posted was also accepted by someone. Feng Tianlin subconsciously clicked on the level and credibility of the person who accepted the mission. But when he saw it, he was shocked. The mission completion rate was actually 100%, and it was the highest level crown assassin in the Mission Commission network. Could it be true? Although Feng Tianlin didn't believe that a heaven-rank powerhouse could appear in a Mission Commission network in the secular world, this person didn't seem to be a scammer. Such a high level. With a 100% mission completion rate, there was no need to ruin his reputation because of this mission. After all, 150 million was not a small amount, but it wasn't a lot either. Many of the assassination missions here could reach tens of millions of rewards. Since this person had such a high mission completion rate, he definitely wasn't someone who hadn't seen money before. Therefore, Feng Tianlin was full of confidence in this bodyguard. Chapter 3061. After all, this matter was caused by Dongfang Xiaocui. Feng Tianlin wanted Feng Shipian to be more vigilant. The only thing that made Feng Tianlin happy was that Dongfang Xiaocui was an idiot, but Feng Shipian wasn't. Although he looked gentle, he was actually a very shrewd person. Arriving at Feng Shipian's room, Feng Tianlin quickly opened the door and walked in. Dad, you're here. Feng Shipian didn't feel that being under house arrest was a kind of torture. Instead, he cultivated peacefully. Seeing that Feng Tianlin came, Feng Shipian nodded to him and continued to cultivate. Shipian, there's something I need to tell you. Can you help me analyze it? What precautions should I take? Feng Tianlin could see that Feng Shipian wasn't an ordinary person after Feng Shipian returned safely from the heavenly elixir sex trial. Although he was a good person, he wasn't a good person. Oh, what's wrong? Or is it because of the heaven-defying matter? Feng Shipian quickly stopped cultivating and looked up. It's like this, your mother, that old woman, can't do anything right. She's causing trouble for me. Feng Tianlin said angrily, it's like this. When Feng Shipian heard about his mother's actions, he furrowed his brows. He didn't approve of his mother's actions, but he could only smile helplessly and say, Father, don't be angry. It's not like you don't know that mother is like this. You understood this from the day you married her, sigh. Yeah, if I wasn't too weak, I would have rejected the marriage, but Feng Tianlin was a weak person compared to Feng Tianlong. His brother Feng Tianlong rejected the marriage and went to find his true love. This was something Feng Tianlin envied, but he didn't dare to do. But now it was too late for him to regret. It was too late for him to regret. He could only take it one step at a time. Fortunately, I have you as my son. You didn't disappoint me. This was the only thing Feng Tianlin was glad about. Dad, let's not talk about this first. How are you going to deal with it? Feng Shipian waved his hand and asked Feng Tianlin, Sister Shirhan is in danger. The opponent is an early-stage heaven class master. Only I can deal with it personally. But I can't leave now. If I want to leave, I'm afraid second uncle won't agree. I can't take it either. This is also what I wanted to discuss with you. Feng Tianlin said, it's like this, I found a bodyguard for Shirpian. This bodyguard is an early-stage heaven rank expert. What? Heaven rank initial stage? Dad, are you kidding me? How could an early-stage heaven rank powerhouse be someone else's bodyguard? Feng Shipian suddenly felt that this matter was absolutely impossible, because wasn't it too ridiculous? Which heaven stage, early stage expert doesn't cultivate well, and to earn money from being a bodyguard in the secular world? Even if he had to work for others, it would be to become a follower of a large clan and obtain some cultivation resources. At first, I also found it strange, but the other party said it so confidently. Then Feng Tianlin told Feng Shipian everything that had happened. When Feng Shirsho heard this, he also felt that it was a little strange. He didn't look like a swindler, but I still couldn't figure it out. This matter was probably not that reliable. According to what you said, even if this person is an early-stage heaven rank expert, he is only a loose cultivator. It is impossible for him to deal with an early-stage heaven rank expert from the Dongfang clan. You have to know that at the heaven rank level, the gap between practitioners is very obvious, especially between loose cultivators and practitioners from aristocratic families. You're right. Feng Tianlin couldn't help but frown. Indeed, Feng Shipian was right. How could the heaven stage experts of the secular world be the same as the heaven stage experts of the ancient sects? Not to mention the secular world. Even an ancient sect's heaven rank expert was different from a hidden aristocratic family's heaven rank expert. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin, who had just heaved a sigh of relief, became nervous again. Then what should we do? Shipian, this is the only method I can think of now. It is not realistic to find a powerful heaven rank expert in a short period of time. I have a suitable candidate, but I'm not sure if he'll be willing to help. Feng Shipian hesitated for a moment before speaking. Although he was a little embarrassed to ask for help, he had no choice but to do so for the sake of his sister. Oh, who is it? Feng Tianlin quickly asked. Boss Linny, Feng Shipian said. Linny? Feng Tianlin was slightly stunned. Yes, if Boss Lin can make a move, then killing that early-stage heaven rank expert in a second won't be a problem. Feng Shipian nodded and said with certainty, Boss Lin could instantly kill a mid-stage heaven rank expert when he was at the peak late stage of Earth class. Now that he is at the early stage, dealing with an early-stage heaven rank expert won't be a problem. Shipian, can you invite Mr. Lin-Yi? Feng Tianlin heard Feng Shipian's words and immediately realized that Lin-Yi was the most suitable candidate. A normal early-stage heaven rank expert was definitely not a match for the Dongfang family's early-stage heaven rank expert. But Lin-Yi could instantly kill them. Even a higher-level heaven rank expert wouldn't be a problem for Lin-Yi. If such a powerful person was invited, wouldn't Su Shirhan be safe? I'll try, but I don't have full confidence. Feng Shipian hesitated for a moment and said, Okay, then immediately call Mr. Lin-Yi. As for the reward, we will not miss a single cent. If he has any conditions, just say it. Feng Tianlin quickly said, I'll call him now. Feng Shipian nodded and took the phone from Feng Tianlin. He dialed Lin-Yi's number, but Lin-Yi's line was busy. At this moment, Lin-Yi was receiving a call from Old Lin. Little E, I received a mission for you. Old Lin's voice sounded from the other side of the phone. Oh, what mission? Old Lin's random words made Lin-Yi, who had just picked up the phone, startled. He didn't know what Old Lin was talking about. I say, old man, what are you talking about? Little E, didn't you ask me to help you get a mission? Do you want to earn money? Old Lin asked in return. Could it be that you don't lack money now? I do. What mission? Lin-Yi suddenly remembered that he did ask Old Lin to help him get a mission. It was just that Lin-Yi had been at ease for too long and didn't realize it. Chapter 3062 Bodyguard. Lin-Yi frowned slightly. This is a long-term mission. Although the reward is quite high, aren't there any short-term assassination missions? Although it seems that I don't have any enemies for the time being, I'm still worried about leaving the East Ocean Mansion for a long time. Don't worry, I've already considered this for you. The other party's mission requirements are very simple. They only require the bodyguard to be a heaven stage master, and the target to be protected can accommodate the bodyguard and follow the bodyguard to the bodyguard city. This way, you don't have to leave East Ocean City and can directly complete the mission here. Old Lin explained. Oh, there's such a good thing. Lin-Yi was a little surprised. However, since the other party requires the bodyguard to be a heaven stage master, the target to be protected must not be simple, right? This mission shouldn't be that easy to complete, right? The enemy that I have to deal with is probably not weak, right? I'm not sure about this. I'll tell you the other party's phone number, and you can discuss the details with him. Old Lin said. Moreover, in addition to a fixed monthly salary, you can also ask for some cultivation resources from him. The other party agreed without hesitation. I guess the identity of the other party is not simple. Okay, I got it, old man. Send me his phone number. Lin-Yi nodded. Although this mission was definitely not simple, Lin-Yi was in need of money. This mission was very suitable. He didn't have to leave East Ocean City to complete the mission, so why not? Lin-Yi hung up the phone and waited for Old Lin's text. However, during this time, Lin-Yi's phone rang again. Lin-Yi thought it was still Old Lin calling. However, when he looked at the caller ID, it was actually an unfamiliar number. Hello? Hello? Lin-Yi picked up the phone politely because he didn't know the person on the other side. Boss, it's me. I'm Feng Shipian. On the other side of the phone, a voice that Lin-Yi was familiar with came. This call was naturally from Feng Shipian. Previously, Lin-Yi's phone didn't go through. He dialed again and again until Lin-Yi and Old Lin ended the call. The first thing he did was to call Lin-Yi. Poems. Lin-Yi was slightly surprised by Feng Shipian's call. In his opinion, after Feng Shipian went back, it would be difficult to contact him. Long time no see. How have you been? Boss, I'm calling this time because I need your help with something. After saying this, Qin Feng's face darkened. Even Feng Shipian himself felt a little embarrassed. He hadn't contacted Lin-Yi for a long time. As soon as he contacted her, he wanted to ask for Lin Yi's help. This made Feng Shipian a little embarrassed. What is it? Tell me. Lin Yi was straightforward. Lin Yi had always treated these little brothers very well. Lin Yi was straightforward. This made Feng Shipian even more embarrassed. However, Feng Shipian had no choice. If he didn't ask Lin Yi, he really didn't know who to ask. He could only bite the bullet and said, Boss Lin Yi, it's like this. I want to ask you to protect someone's safety. What? Ask me to protect someone's safety. Lin Yi was stunned. Wasn't this too much of a coincidence? Old Man Lin had just accepted a mission to be his bodyguard, and Feng Shipian came to ask for his help? If it were any other time, Lin Yi would naturally agree. However, now that Lin Yi had accepted the mission, how could Lin Yi agree? Therefore, Lin Yi was in a dilemma. He wanted to refuse, but it wasn't good for him to refuse. Boss, don't worry. The reward will not be a penny less. Feng Shipian heard Lin Yi's shocked tone and quickly added, Shipian, it's not that I don't want to promise you, but I have other things to do. I have to protect someone else's safety. I'm afraid I can't promise you. Lin Yi said with a bitter smile, This is a coincidence. I see. Feng Shipian was a little disappointed, but he didn't force it. Since Lin Yi said that he had something to do and had to protect someone else, what else could Feng Shipian say? He could only say, It doesn't matter. I'll think of another way. Boss, you go ahead. Okay. Lin Yi also said apologetically, There's really no other way this time. After hanging up the phone, Feng Shipian smiled bitterly and conveyed Lin Yi's words to Feng Tianlin. After Feng Tianlin heard it, he was also a little disappointed. He didn't understand Lin Yi, so he said to Feng Shipian, Shipian, maybe Mr. Lin Yi didn't want to help, so he found an excuse. How can there be such a coincidence? Dad, you don't understand Lin Yi, boss. Boss Lin Yi must have something to do. It's not what you think. Feng Shipian understood Lin Yi, so he defended Lin Yi. Forget it. Let's put our hopes on my bodyguard. Feng Tianlin smiled non-committally, but he didn't argue with Feng Shipian. Feng Shipian still wanted to explain something, but at this moment, Feng Tianlin's phone rang again. Lin Yi didn't lie to Feng Shipian. Old Man Lin gave him the task and he had to execute it. Otherwise, it would affect Old Man Lin's credibility as a manager. This task was actually posted by Feng Tianlin himself. It was just that Lin Yi didn't know about it, and neither did Feng Tianlin and Feng Shipian. However, because the phone number that Feng Tianlin gave to Old Man Lin was not the same phone number that Feng Shipian used just now, Lin Yi didn't realize that these two people were the same person. He still followed the agreement and dialed Feng Tianlin's number to discuss the specific details of the task. Hello. Feng Tianlin didn't know Lin Yi's number, so he picked up the phone without thinking much. Is this Mr. Su? Lin Yi asked politely. It's me. You are. Feng Tianlin also guessed that the person who called was most likely the bodyguard he found on the Task Commission website. I am the bodyguard you are looking for, Lin Yi said. Now, I want to confirm the specific details. Okay, Mr. Bodyguard, please speak. Feng Tianlin didn't know Lin Yi's surname, so he could only call him Mr. Bodyguard. First of all, I want to confirm the gender, age, occupation, and lifestyle of the person to be protected. Lin Yi asked. Since it is a cooperation, then I won't hide it from you. Feng Tianlin said, The person you need to protect is a girl. She is 20 years old this year, and she is a celebrity. Chapter 3063. I will ask her to cancel it as much as possible. If she really can't cancel it, I will discuss with you in advance. What do you think? Feng Tianlin asked. To be honest, Lin Yi didn't want to be a celebrity's bodyguard. If she was a celebrity, she couldn't live in his villa. After all, she was a public figure. Whether she was willing to live with him or not was another matter. Moreover, Lin Yi had to follow the celebrity around for activities. However, the employer said that he could ask the celebrity to cancel the activities as much as possible. It seemed that she wasn't a big celebrity. It shouldn't be a problem for them to live together. Thus, he said, for the safety of the protected, I hope she can live with me. Can you do this? Live together. Feng Tianlin wasn't afraid of anything else. He was just afraid that Lin Yi would steal what he was guarding. His daughter was a big celebrity. An old moat that leads to the latent locust tree, denouncing the frequent coaxing of the common people. Where can one go to reason? The other party was a heaven-class master. It's for the convenience of protecting her. After all, if she doesn't live here, I'll have to live with her. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Lin Yi didn't know about Feng Tianlin's concerns. He thought that Feng Tianlin wasn't used to it. After all, Lin Yi didn't even know what the celebrity looked like. Maybe she was ugly? Lin Yi knew that some celebrities were even worse than ordinary people after removing their makeup. So, Lin Yi didn't have that kind of thought at all. This is true. Feng Tianlin thought about it carefully. It was true. He found a bodyguard for Su Shirhan. If they didn't stay together at night, how could the Dongfang family protect his daughter? Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin nodded and said, That's fine. But is there anyone else at your place? I'm afraid my daughter won't be used to it. Yes. Lin Yi was a little impatient. He accepted this task. It was just that he lacked money. But he was a heaven-class master. He still had some temper. Mr. Su, since you want a heaven-class master, you should be considered as someone in the cultivation world. Don't you think that it's good enough that I'm protecting your daughter? What is there to be picky about? This. Feng Tianlin smiled bitterly. Indeed, the person he hired wasn't an ordinary bodyguard, but a heaven-ranked master. He couldn't treat him like a normal bodyguard. Thinking of this, Feng Tianlin quickly apologized. I'm sorry, Mr. Bodyguard. I'm just thinking for my daughter. Please forgive me. All right. You can let your daughter or someone close to her contact me directly, Lin Yi said. All right. How should I address you, sir? Feng Tianlin asked. Lin Yi, this is my phone number. You should be able to see it. Lin Yi didn't leave his real name. This was the name Lin Yi used when doing missions. Therefore, Lin Yi still used it out of habit. All right, Mr. Lin Yi. Feng Tianlin nodded and hung up the phone. Lin Yi? Feng Shipian was taken aback. Why did this name sound so familiar? Dad, let me have a look at your phone. Oh, what's wrong? Feng Tianlin handed the phone to Feng Shipian. Feng Shipian glanced at the number on Feng Tianlin's phone and suddenly exclaimed, Really? Really? Boss? What boss? Feng Tianlin was a bit confused, but he immediately reacted, Shipian. You mean the person who called is Lin Yi? Yes, this number is Boss Lin Yi's, and Lin Yi is also the name that Boss used before. Feng Shipian said excitedly, You see, Boss does have something to do, but I never thought that he would actually accept a mission as a bodyguard. Feng Tianlin was also very surprised. He didn't think that the bodyguard he hired was actually Lin Yi. This Lin Yi wasn't an ordinary heaven-ranked master in the early stage. This was something that could be used by a heaven-ranked master in the middle stage. This time, even if the Dongfang family sent a heaven-ranked master, Feng Tianlin wouldn't be afraid. I really didn't expect this. Is Lin Yi short of money? Feng Tianlin asked curiously. Short of money. Right. Feng Shipian suddenly thought of the news that he had received from Guxian before. After returning to the Feng family, although he didn't contact Lin Yi, he had been paying attention to Lin Yi. He also knew that Lin Yi's medical company had gone bankrupt. If Lin Yi was short of money, it was true. Therefore, Feng Shipian told Feng Tianlin about this matter. Hi, if that's the case, it stands to reason that I should give him more money. But my private money is only more than 300 million yuan, which is only enough to hire him for 2 months. Feng Tianlin smiled bitterly. I want to give more, but I don't have the money. I understand. Let's try our best. However, I really didn't expect that with boss's help, Sister Shirhan will definitely be fine. Foam Shipian breathed a sigh of relief. However, at the same time, he suddenly became nervous. No, Dad, if Boss Lin Yi kills the people sent by the Dongfang family for Sister Shirhan, wouldn't he offend the Dongfang family? Foam Tianlin's expression also changed slightly, and he said, I didn't think about this before. After all, the duty of a bodyguard is to take money and eliminate disasters for others. We have paid the price. Even if the bodyguard is hated because of the Dongfang family, it has nothing to do with us. If you don't have a diamond, don't do porcelain work. This is also the rule. However, this person is Lin Yi now. If you don't make it clear, there will definitely be a gap in the future. So, Shipian, if you want to tell Lin Yi, just say it. I support you. Dad, thank you. Foam Shipian said with some emotion. Since Foam Tianlin said so, it meant that he was prepared for Lin Yi to not do it at any time. However, Foam Shipian knew Lin Yi's character. But Dad, don't worry. I know Boss's character. If the person being protected is my sister, Boss will only do his best. Even if he doesn't get paid, he will do it. Okay, then you call. Foam Tianlin said. Foam Shipian picked up the phone and dialed Lin Yi's number again. But this time he used the number that Foam Tianlin had contacted Lin Yi before. Mr. Su, is there anything else? Lin Yi saw the caller ID on the mobile phone and picked up the phone. He thought that Foam Tianlin had forgotten to tell him something. Boss, it's me. Foam Shipian said quickly after hearing Lin Yi's voice. Chapter 3064. Boss, the person who called you just now was my father. Foam Shipian said weakly. The person he asked you to protect is the same person I want you to protect. No way. What a coincidence. Lin Yi felt that this was too much of a coincidence. He had just left the mountain to accept a mission, and it was actually to protect Foam Shipian's family. Yeah, I was wondering why you suddenly went to protect others. So it was for this mission, Foam Shipian said. Since it's one of us, I don't need money. Just give me some cultivation resources. Although Lin Yi was short on money, he couldn't ask for a reward for protecting Foam Shipian's family. That's fine too. Foam Shipian didn't refuse. My father has 350 million yuan. Boss, you can use it. It's not a reward. As your younger brother, I'm sponsoring you. I've heard about your company, and I'm doing my best to help you. Foam Shipian nodded and said, Boss, I'm just doing my best to help you. All right, it would be impolite of me to refuse. Since Foam Shipian said so, Lin Yi nodded and agreed. All right, boss, I'm calling to remind you that the people who are causing trouble for my sister are from the ancient Dongfang family. Foam Shipian said. The other party's background is very tyrannical. It's fine if you refuse, boss. After all, I don't want you to get into trouble. Ancient Dongfang family. Lin Yi's heart moved, but he still said indifferently, ancient level. It doesn't matter. I'm already a heaven rank expert, so sooner or later, I'll set foot on the ancient level. I'll take a look at the Dongfang family first. If it had been any other family, Lin Yi would have helped. However, he was afraid that Foam Shipian would also keep his identity a secret. He didn't want to become enemies with an ancient sect because of this. At the very least, he represented the ancient Feng family and hid his identity. However, the ancient Dongfang family already had enmity with Lin Yi. The death of the Dongfang elder would be traced back to Lin Yi sooner or later. Therefore, it was no longer important whether Lin Yi went against them or not. Even if Lin Yi killed a few more people from the Dongfang family, it would only make the enmity greater. If he didn't kill Elder Dongfang, the Dongfang clan wouldn't let Lin Yi off easily after learning of Elder Dongfang's death. Boss, have you made up your mind? Foam Shipian was taken aback. He didn't know what Lin Yi was thinking. He thought that Lin Yi did this for him. Hee hee, of course I have. Lin Yi smiled and said, All right, I got it. Tell your sister, or sister, to contact me. It's my sister, Feng Shipian said. By the way, my father hid his surname before. Boss, don't be angry. Hee hee, I also hid it. It's normal to do this when we're not familiar with each other. Lin Yi said indifferently. All right, boss, I'll tell my father to contact my sister now. Feng Shipian felt a lot more relaxed after settling this matter, especially after Lin Yi said it. He wanted to step into the ancient realm, and going against the Dongfang clan wouldn't bring him any trouble. How was it? After Feng Shipian hung up the phone, Feng Tianlin hurriedly asked. Boss agreed. Moreover, he also knows about the Dongfang clan. However, Boss isn't worried. He also wants to use the Dongfang clan to experience the ancient realm. Feng Shipian said. Feng Tianlin nodded and said with a sigh, I have to say Lin Yi's growth this year is too fast from nothing to something. Even the noble houses and hidden houses can't stop his footsteps. I'm guessing that the ancient level is going to be another bloodbath. It's a good thing that you've established a relationship with Lin Yi early on. Perhaps Lin Yi will be the last straw that can save us father and son. Feng Tianlin didn't really like Lin Yi at first. So when Feng Shipian returned to the clan, he thought that Feng Shipian was too impulsive to recognize a common world, wandering cultivator as his boss. However, after paying attention to him for a while, Feng Tianlin realized what kind of person Lin Yi was. A wandering cultivator destroyed a hidden house without batting an eyelid. What kind of methods and courage was this? Plus, Lin Yi was now the enemy of the everyday and everyday sect, but he was unharmed. What did this mean? All of this meant that Lin Yi had extraordinary abilities. So letting him be Su Shirhan's bodyguard was a wise decision. Dad, it's great that you support me. Feng Shipian breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that Feng Tianlin didn't object to him calling him boss. This made him very happy. Of course not. Feng Tianlin smiled and said, I'll call Feng Sanhuang now and arrange it. Master. Feng Sanhuang saw Feng Tianlin's phone and quickly found a place with no one around. He picked up the phone and said quietly, Is there anything I can do for you? Sanhuang, how is Xiaohan recently? Feng Tianlin asked. Master, Miss has been very safe recently. There's no danger, but because of the attack last time, Miss has been very low-key. She didn't go to other cities to participate in activities, Feng Sanhuang said. In fact, it wasn't because Su Shirhan had been low-key. The main reason was that Feng Nitian was crippled. Feng Tianhu didn't have the mood to deal with Su Shirhan anymore. He had been focusing on Feng Nitian for a while. Now that Nitian was dead, he started to deal with Su Shirhan again. But Sanhuang, there's going to be a big danger soon. Feng Tianlin said to him, House Dongfang is preparing to deal with Xiaohan. That Dongfang is not weak. He likes Xiaohan and wants to. And they sent an early phase Sky class master to deal with you. What? Early phase Sky class master? Feng Sanhuang was shocked. He didn't think that Feng Tianhu would be able to send a Sky class master to deal with him and Su Shirhan. Could it be that there was a change in House Feng? Had Feng Tianhu taken over as the head of the house? Could it be that Feng Tianhu joined hands with House Dongfang? That can't be right. Second mistress should be on master's side. Feng Sanhuang only knew a few things about the Feng family on the surface. As for the specifics of what had happened recently, he didn't know. You don't need to know about these things. Feng Tianhu didn't take over the position. That's why House Dongfang made their move. Feng Tianlin naturally couldn't explain that it was Dongfang Xiaozui's fault. Chapter 3065. He didn't know what to do. After all, a heaven-class early-phase master wasn't someone he could easily deal with. So when Sanhuang heard about a heaven-class early-phase master, he was a bit dumbfounded. San Huang, don't worry. Shirhan has already found a bodyguard for Shirhan. It's a heaven-class early-phase master. Feng Tianlin said, You just need to think of a reason to make Shirhan accept this new bodyguard. Okay, I can do that easily. These years, San Huang had been by Shirhan's side, and he was deeply trusted by her, but he was still a bit worried. Master, they are both heaven-class early-phase masters. Can they be a match for Dongfeng family? This isn't a normal heaven-class early phase. It's a heaven-class early-phase master who can fight above his level. Hee, you'll know when you see him. Feng Tianlin smiled and said, I'll send you his phone number. You can contact him directly. What? Can fight above his level? Which ancient sect's disciple is this? Feng Sanhuang was a little surprised. These kinds of masters weren't normal masters. They were usually important targets of the ancient sects or families. Just like Feng Nitian of House Feng, they were all people who could fight above their level. But how could this kind of person be a bodyguard for Shirhan? They were all extremely arrogant masters. You'll know when the time comes. Feng Tianlin didn't say much. But you have to go to the city he's in and live with him. This is also the master's request. Feng Tianlin told San Huang about some of Lin Yi's requests and the things to pay attention to. Okay. Although Feng San Huang was puzzled, he could only nod. Not long after hanging up, San Huang received a text from Feng Tianlin. It was a phone number, and the owner was called Ling Yi. After getting the number, Feng San Huang went to see Su Shirhan. Feng bro, what's up? Shirhan saw San Huang walking over and asked. Under normal circumstances, San Huang, as a bodyguard and driver, rarely took the initiative to talk to her. Wang Sis was in charge of the work. Miss Su, I've received news that the people who attacked you before will probably attack you again soon. Feng San Huang said seriously to Su Shirhan, So, for your safety, I want to find my friend to be responsible for your safety. Ah, those people still want to fight. Su Shirhan was shocked. She had been keeping a low profile recently, but nothing happened during this time. She thought that the matter was over, but she didn't expect that those people still wanted to make a move. Yes, the information should be accurate. Feng San Huang nodded. Sure, as for the salary, you can just tell Wang Sis. It's better to have an extra bodyguard. Shirhan didn't doubt Feng San Huang's words and chose to believe him. However, my friend has other things to do. Can we go to his city and live for a while? Feng San Huang asked. Ah, we still have to go to his city. Su Shirhan paused. It wasn't that she didn't want to go, but going to a foreign city suddenly wouldn't be easy. That's for sure. If we ask him for help, we have to accommodate him, right? Feng San Huang didn't say anything about the salary. In fact, he didn't know how much it was. From his perspective, it was already good enough for a heaven-class master to help. You're right. Shirhan didn't have the temper of those superstars. Hearing Feng San Huang's words, she nodded. However, the manager Wang Sis heard the conversation between Feng San Huang and Shirhan. She was a bit unhappy. Xiao Feng, can't you protect Miss Su? Who else do we need to look for? If she goes to another city, how are we going to do our work? Miss Su is going to release her album in the first half of next year. If she goes to a small city without a recording studio, how are we going to make an album? Wang Sis, listen to Feng Bro. Shirhan shook her head. Only she knew how vicious those people were. That time in the dark alley, if it wasn't for Lin Yi, she would have died there. Feng San Huang never said anything he wasn't sure of. Since he said he wanted help, it meant that he didn't have absolute confidence. So Shirhan wouldn't argue with him on this matter. Oh, Wang Sis was a bit unwilling. She didn't know how dangerous it was, but Shirhan insisted, so she could only give up. Feng San Huang, on the other hand, directly called Ling Yi. Hello, is this Mr. Ling Yi? I'm the bodyguard of the person being protected. May I know which city you're in? Feng San Huang asked politely. The person was a heaven-class master. It's me. I'm in Donghai City. When you guys arrive at Donghai Airport, I can pick you up. Lin Yi said. Since this was Feng Shishan's sister, Lin Yi was naturally more friendly. Okay, we'll take today's flight. We'll arrive at Donghai Airport at night. Feng Sanwang said. We're VIP members of the airline. We have a special green channel. You can just wait for us at the exit. I'll book the ticket and tell you the exact time. No problem. Lin Yi nodded. After the call, Lin Yi called Meng Yao and Yushu down. Shield bro, it's the weekend. Why did you call us so early in the morning? What's the matter? Yushu yawned as she came down. Meng Yao was a little puzzled as well. What did Lin Yi want to call them up on a weekend morning? Yao Yao, Shu, I called you this time because I have something important to tell you. Now that he'd confirmed the mission, it was about time to tell them the specifics of the mission. After all, the celebrity they were protecting had to stay at home as well. Oh, what is it? Yushu was curious. Meng Yao didn't ask, but she opened her eyes wide and looked at Lin Yi, waiting for him to say something. It's like this. I'm short on money recently. You guys know that, so I accepted a bodyguard mission. I'm in charge of protecting someone. Lin Yi said straightforwardly. Bodyguard mission? Shu paused. Is it to protect a man or a girl? It's a girl, a celebrity, Lin Yi said. Chapter 3066. But after saying this, she blushed. Why did she stop him? What was she afraid of? Was she afraid that the new girl Lin Yi was protecting would fall in love with Lin Yi? No. How could it be? She didn't fall in love with Lin Yi. What I mean is, you have to protect me and Shu. How can you protect other people? Meng Yao saw that Lin Yi and Shu were looking at her strangely, so she blushed and tried to explain. But Shield Bro's mission's already over. Are you afraid that someone else is going to steal your position in Shield Bro's heart, Yao Yao? Yushu, on the other hand, knew Meng Yao very well. How? How is that possible? It's just that the final exams are coming. Shield Bro shouldn't go far, right? And it's New Year in a month. Meng Yao was still explaining incoherently. It's okay. I'll let them move to the villa. I won't go far. Lin Yi said. Plus, my follower Feng Shishan asked me to help with this mission. I can't refuse. I see. All right then. Meng Yao thought that it'd be fine if he moved into the villa, since he'd be under her and Shu's watchful eyes. He shouldn't be able to do anything with that superstar, right? One had to know that she didn't even need to do anything. Shu could turn the world upside down. Back then, Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao were speechless because of Shu, weren't they? Then I'll go prepare 2 rooms on the first floor. Then I'll pick them up. Lin Yi nodded and went to prepare the rooms. Grandma's son had already left. Housework. In other words, everyone did it together. After Lin Yi left, Yushu said, Yao Yao sis, don't worry, isn't she just a small star? She can't threaten Yao Yao sis' position. If she has any perverted thoughts toward Shield Bro, Shu will let her know who's the big wife in this villa. Besides, Shield Bro has seen Shirhan sis before. How could an ordinary little celebrity catch his eye? Why would I worry about that? I'm just worried that the celebrity won't be easy to get along with. Meng Yao naturally wouldn't admit it. But thinking about it, Lin Yi had seen Su Shirhan before. If he wanted to hit on someone, it would be Su Shirhan. Why would he be interested in a small celebrity? Thinking of this, he felt much more at ease. It doesn't matter. She lives in our territory, so she has to follow our rules. She must be begging Shield Bro to be her bodyguard. If she's not willing, she can just leave. Yushu said. After Lin Yi tidied up the room, it was almost time. He drove to Donghai Airport. Feng Sanhuang bought a plane ticket at noon, so he could arrive in the afternoon. Since there was danger, they had to meet up with Lin Yi as soon as possible to ensure Su Shirhan's safety. Donghai Airport's VIP lounge. Although this lounge was exclusively for VIPs, The people who came here to pick up the people who came down from the VIP passage. But there were quite a lot of people here. The seats were almost full. Lin Yi looked around and found a good seat near the window. It was a big sofa, and no one was sitting there. He walked over and sat down, picking up a magazine and reading it. Lin Yi didn't bother with pleasantries as he walked over and sat down. The plane would arrive in half an hour, so Lin Yi arrived a little earlier. However, Lin Yi hadn't been reading the magazine for long when an extremely arrogant voice came from behind him, giving him a big fright. Mother ***, who let you sit here? Don't you know this is young Master Jun's exclusive seat? The voice came from behind Lin Yi. It wasn't that Lin Yi didn't notice the person behind him, but there were quite a lot of people coming to pick up the plane. As long as they didn't come to attack Lin Yi wouldn't care what they were doing. Lin Yi frowned. Was there a special seat for this type of seat? But when he looked down, there didn't seem to be anything special about his spot other than the better lighting and the fact that it was a comfortable sofa. What are you looking at? Aren't you going to give up your seat to young Master Jun? The voice saw Lin Yi lowering his head, but he was a little impatient. If this seat was really dedicated, Lin Yi would give it to him. After all, although Lin Yi was strong, he wasn't willing to bully these ordinary people because of some small things. Lin Yi's eyes were now filled with cultivators. However, this seat wasn't dedicated at all. It wasn't marked at all. Lin Yi was a little unhappy. He stood up, turned his head, and looked at the person who scolded him. This was a man in black. However, what surprised Lin Yi was that although Lin Yi couldn't see through this person's strength, he should be a master without a doubt. This seat, where is it written that it's yours? Lin Yi asked faintly. Although the person was a master, it was only relative to ordinary people. Lin Yi didn't put him in his eyes. The man in black didn't answer Lin Yi's question. It seemed that he didn't put Lin Yi in his eyes at all. He reached out his hand and pushed towards Lin Yi, wanting to push Lin Yi to the side. He didn't even want to explain. However, what surprised him was that Lin Yi didn't move an inch under his push. You. The master jumped in fright. He knew how strong he was. He pushed Lin Yi, but it didn't budge at all. He immediately increased the strength of his hand, using all of his mystic late phase, peak physical strength. However, he thought that this time he would definitely push Lin Yi away. What surprised him was that Lin Yi didn't move an inch. He was still standing in the same spot. Slap. Lin Yi slapped the mystic class master, sending him flying out of the room. Boom! With a loud sound, the master fell to the ground. The corner of his mouth was full of blood, and his teeth fell out. However, he didn't know the pain because he had already fainted. Move! Move! After the master was slapped away by Lin Yi, there was a sudden noise at the door of the resting room. A pale-faced young man, under the escort of a few men in black, walked into the resting room. But when they saw the Mystic Division Master lying motionless on the ground with blood all over his mouth, they were completely stunned. A black-robed man ran over quickly. Junior brother, what happened to you? Who hurt you? Lin Yi frowned. Since when did Donghai City have so many masters? Chapter 3067. The one just now was a physical master, and the one in front of him was most likely one too. When a physical master didn't show his strength, Lin Yi's golden finger was useless. However, what shocked Lin Yi the most was that the pale young man protected by the men in black was Lin Yi's old acquaintance, Jin In-jun. He was young Master Jun. When Lin Yi and Ma Zhu died together, his meridians were broken, so Lin Yi didn't chase after Jin Dazhou and Zhen Yingjun, who ran back to Donghai City. At that time, Lin Yi wasn't a match for the Jinzhong clan. Later on, the Jinzhong clan was about to be annihilated by Lin Yi, and Lin Yi naturally wouldn't care about House Zhen of Donghai. However, after a while, Zhen Yingjun seemed to have become even more powerful. There were so many masters around him all of a sudden. Although they weren't the most powerful masters, they were only in Lin Yi's eyes. The peak of the late phase of mystic division was already a very powerful existence in the mortal world. Of course, this wasn't what surprised Lin Yi the most. What surprised Lin Yi the most was that the man in black that he slapped didn't die. He only lost a tooth. But his life wasn't in danger. Although Lin Yi didn't use any martial arts, Lin Yi didn't hold back after knowing that the man was a cultivator and slapped him with the strength of the early phase of heaven class. Yet he didn't die from Lin Yi's slap. He was only a master at the peak of the late phase of mystic division, 2 ranks lower than Lin Yi, yet he didn't die? Wasn't this person too strange? Could it be that he was from the Jinzhong clan? But the Jinzhong clan was about to be annihilated. Where would they send so many masters? Did you hurt my junior brother? The man in black checked the mystic class master who was injured by Lin Yi on the ground. After confirming that his life wasn't in danger, he stood up and looked at Lin Yi with determination. But he didn't let his guard down. A person who could injure his junior brother was definitely not a simple character. Who are you? Why did you hurt him? Zhan Yingjun, I didn't think we'd meet again. Lin Yi ignored the man in black. Although their defensive abilities were very strong, Lin Yi didn't put them in his eyes. With the strength of their bodies, they simply couldn't withstand Lin Yi's martial skills. Moreover, he didn't even need the powerful Frenzy Fire 8 trigrams palm. Just the 10th form of the Frenzy Fire Fist was enough to take their lives. Of course, in the eyes of other cultivators, this was also a very powerful existence. The 10th form of Frenzy Fist was a skill that only an Earth-class late phase peak could use. Using an Earth-class late phase peak martial skill to kill a mystic late phase peak master? What a joke! This was also the reason why these men in black were so arrogant. Linny? Zhan Yingjun's breathing quickened, and his pale face turned even paler. He was terrified of what happened just now. He thought that he had the support of a powerful force after returning to East Ocean City and returning to his own territory. He could look down on everything, but when he stood in front of Lin Yi, his legs couldn't help but cramp. Kill him, this kid is a bad guy. He can't be left alive. Zhan Yingjun's words caused the man in black and the other 2 men in black to surround Lin Yi at the same time. Kid, I don't care which sect you are from. You will all die today. Master Jun has spoken. You won't be able to live. The first man in black said coldly to Lin Yi. Lin Yi ignored him before. This made him very angry. So after Zhan Yingjun gave the order, he prepared to kill Lin Yi. Clear the area, clear the area. The Flintlock squad is working here. Those who have no business here can leave. Other than the 4 men in black, there were a few bodyguards behind Zhan Yingjun with bulging waists. It was obvious that they had guns. When they called out the firearm team's name, everyone's expressions changed. They all stood up and looked at Lin Yi pitifully before quickly leaving. Which sect are you from? Golden Bell sect? Lin Yi didn't answer the man in black's question, but asked back. Golden Bell clan. The man in black heard Lin Yi's words and humphed coldly. Golden Bell clan isn't even worthy of helping us. Judging from your level, you're just a hidden sect. Our sect will scare you to death. Scare me to death? Lin Yi froze. Were these people from the ancient sect? That Zhan family was really impressive to actually establish a connection with the ancient era. Let me tell you, we're from Iron Cloak clan. Are you scared now? The man in black reported his clan and looked at Lin Yi mockingly, waiting for Lin Yi to piss his pants. Iron Cloak clan? Lin Yi asked back. I've never heard of it. You. Black-clothed man number 2 was furious. Lin Yi's words were insulting their existence, making him furious. Kid, you're asking for it. You don't have to be angry. Lin Yi is only at the level of a common noble house. He doesn't even know how many hidden noble houses there are. How would he know how powerful the ancient sect is? Zhan Yingjun calmed down and waved his hand. Don't talk nonsense with them. Just kill him. From his point of view, it was useless no matter how powerful Lin Yi was. Now that he had the support of the ancient sect and the famous Iron Cloak clan, he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi anymore. Zhan Yingjun, you still owe me money, right? Where's the 250 million you owe me last time? I'm in need of money, recently. Return it to me, and I'll forget about what happened today. It's not easy for your men to cultivate until now. I won't kill them. Lin Yi turned to Zhan Yingjun and said, You're a coward. Zhan Yingjun sneered. Lin Yi, you don't need to hide the fear in your heart. I know you're scared. That's why you're acting cool. Don't think that I don't know. I know this very well. You must die today. All of you go. Don't talk nonsense with him. Just kill him. Yes, Master June. The men in black from Iron Cloak clan nodded, and Black Cloak one punched at Lin Yi. Lin Yi frowned slightly. To be honest, he didn't want to become enemies with Iron Cloak clan. After all, Lin Yi already had enmity with Dark Palace, Everyday Sect, Blood Cloak Underworld Sect, and the ancient Dongfang clan. There were only a few ancient sects, and Lin Yi offended 4 of them at once. There was also the Heavenly Elixir sect, whose attitude was unclear. Lin Yi really didn't want to become enemies with Iron Cloak clan. Chapter 3068. What was the relationship between them? One had to know that Zhan Yingjun was also very respectful in front of Ma Zhu, but these people from Iron Cloak faction became his hired thugs. How strange! Iron Cloak faction, don't do anything. I don't want to kill you. My only enemy is Zhan Yingjun, Lin Yi said to Black Cloak number 1 and the others. However, the more Lin Yi acted like this, the more Iron Cloak faction thought that Lin Yi was scared and was trying to scare them. Therefore, Black Cloak number 1 didn't stop and punched towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi sighed slightly. He had no choice but to attack. However, Lin Yi still held back. Although he revealed the strength of an early phase of Heaven class, he still used the 8th form of Frenzy Fist. He could only heavily injure Black Cloak number 1, but he couldn't kill him. He hoped that he would be merciful and stop Iron Cloak faction from causing trouble. Otherwise, Lin Yi would have to kill them next time. Although Lin Yi wasn't afraid of trouble, it was better to avoid unnecessary trouble. Boom! 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 Lin Yi didn't make a move, but when he did, it was clean and neat. In just an instant, the 4 black-clothed men, including Black Cloth number 1, were directly sent flying by Lin Yi. Black Shirt 1 was obviously the strongest among them, having reached the peak of the early phase of Earth class. Although the others had fainted, he didn't faint even though he was injured. He only looked at Lin Yi in shock and spat out 4 words, Sky class. Black Cloak number 1 knew that he kicked an iron plate. Lin Yi was so young and was already in early phase of Heaven class. He couldn't be a nobody, nor could he be cultivated by a small family. There must be a bigger force behind him. He said that he hadn't heard of Iron Cloak faction. Maybe he looked down on them. What? Zhan Yingjun wasn't as clueless as before. He knew what it meant to be a Heaven class master. How could Lin Yi be a Heaven stage expert? This was completely unrealistic. Back then, he had to go all out against Ma Zhu, and in the end, both of them were heavily injured. But now, when he made his move, he didn't even see it clearly, and all his bodyguards were already lying on the ground. Even the weakest of them, Black Shirt number 1, who was at the peak of early phase of Earth rank, wasn't a match for him. Zhan Yingjun, I told you that I don't want to fight, and I've warned you. If you want your men to die, then there's nothing I can do. Lin Yi tried his best to push the blame onto Zhan Yingjun and let Tai Yi sect get even with him. He walked towards Zhan Yingjun step by step. However, Lin Yi was wrong about Iron Cloak sect. They wouldn't do anything to Zhan Yingjun, at least not now. Don't come any closer. I'm telling you, although you've defeated them, I'm backed by the entire Iron Cloth sect. If you dare to touch me, I'll make you suffer. Zhang Ingjun was the one who put up a strong front. He kept backing away. A heaven stage expert. This was too shocking. Slap. Lin Yi slapped Zhang Ingjun's face. His handsome face was once again slapped until his eyes and mouth were crooked. Iron Cloak sect? You also thought that Jinzhong Gate was powerful before, but what about now? Lin Yi stood in front of Zhang Ingjun indifferently. You can't kill me. Zhang Ingjun was really scared and kept backing away. Lin Yi, House Zhen is powerful now, really powerful. Oh, even if you change your name to Zhen Niu Bai, it has nothing to do with me. Slap. Another slap sounded. Lin Yi slapped the other side of Zhang Ingjun's face. Let me go. I'll do whatever you want. Zhang Ingjun softened. He had no choice but to lower his head in front of Lin Yi. I can let you go. I just want to collect the debt from you. 250 million. When will you give it to me? Lin Yi asked. I've already returned 250 million to you. Can you give me less this time? How about 150 million? Zhang Ingjun hesitated and said, What do you think? Slap. Another slap. Lin Yi was getting impatient. Stop wasting time. If you have money, use it to buy your life. If you don't, then die. 150 million is fine. I'll cut off your arms, and it'll be 100 million. How about that? Then, okay, I'll transfer the money to you after I go back. Zhang Ingjun rolled his eyes and thought that he should leave first. As long as he went back, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to find him and he could do whatever he wanted. Go back? Lin Yi naturally knew what Zhang Ingjun was thinking. He sneered. Now immediately transfer the money. Otherwise, I don't mind turning you into them. Of course, they are cultivators and physical defense cultivators at that. They didn't die under my hands, but that's not necessarily the case for you. You might just die in an instant, but it's not bad. You don't have to pay me back anymore. Okay. Zhang Ingjun took a deep breath and reminded himself that he had to lower his head when he was under someone else's roof. Just you wait and see. Then Zhang Ingjun took out his phone and said to Lin Yi, Give me your account number. Lin Yi gave him an account number, and Zhang Ingjun made a few calls to transfer the money to Lin Yi. He didn't dare to play any tricks, as he knew how ruthless Lin Yi was. He had to get through this first, and he would have plenty of chances to deal with Lin Yi in the future. Moreover, Zhang Ingjun's House Zhen had the support of Iron Cloth sect, and they were quite rich. Although 250 million wasn't a small amount, Zhang Ingjun could still afford it. Not long after, Lin Yi received a notification on his phone. Lin Yi looked at the amount and nodded in satisfaction. Okay, you can leave now. Okay. Zhang Ingjun gritted his teeth and looked at the bodyguards in white with guns on their waists. He ordered, What are you waiting for? Carry them on your back and come with me. Yes. Although the bodyguards in white had guns and looked powerful in front of outsiders, they were far from a cultivator. Although they didn't fall, they didn't dare to pull out their guns in front of Lin Yi, and Zhang Ingjun didn't think about using them to turn the tables. Chapter 3069. After all, Lin Yi didn't kill the people from Tai sect and Zhang Ingjun, so Zhendazhou and Tai sect wouldn't be so desperate. After they went back, they would investigate his background again and decide if they should kill him or not. Of course, if Tai sect didn't want to cause trouble, they wouldn't mind losing 250 million since no one died. He still wasn't strong enough. Lin Yi sighed. If he had absolute strength, these people wouldn't be able to walk out of here today. However, Lin Yi could only let them go for now in order to avoid too much trouble. However, it wasn't for nothing. At least, Lin Yi brought back 250 million. Fatty Lie's medical company had 250 million, in addition to the 350 million Feng Shishan gave him. So it shouldn't be a problem to keep it running. However, the money that House Lu mortgaged and Yu Xiaoke's orphanage wasn't enough. Lin Yi could only hope that the genius girl from House, Lu, could give him a surprise and restore House, Lu's agency to its former glory. Zhan Yingjun came and left quickly without a trace. The guests who were chased away returned to the resting room after seeing Zhan Yingjun leave. However, their eyes were filled with respect when they looked at Lin Yi. It was rare to see someone who could defeat Zhan Yingjun's bodyguard and beat Zhan Yingjun up. This little episode made Lin Yi earn 250 million. It seemed like there were benefits to coming to pick him up. A good person would be rewarded. Zhan Yingjun left, and Su Shirhan's plane was about to land. The plane was on time, and when Lin Yi saw the flight number on the LCD screen, he put down the newspaper in his hand. Soon, the sound of footsteps came from the entrance of the lounge. Someone was getting off the plane, and there were also a few people in the lounge who stood up. They were probably here to pick up the passengers who were getting off the plane. Lin Yi looked at his phone. No one had called him yet, but he thought that when the person he was going to pick up got off the plane, they would call him. However, Lin Yi didn't see the main character, but saw a group of familiar faces coming out of the passageway. It was the superstar Su Shirhan, her bodyguard Feng Sanhuang, and her manager Wang Sis. These three people made Lin Yi slightly surprised. Did Su Shirhan come to East Ocean City to perform? But since he saw her, Lin Yi naturally had to greet her. No matter what, Su Shirhan was the company spokesperson, and she had a good relationship with Miss and the others. Young Han, Arid Triad, why are you here? Lin Yi was not familiar with Big Sis Wang, so he only nodded at her. Lin Yi! Su Shirhan didn't expect to bump into Lin Yi at the airport. She was wearing sunglasses, and this was the VIP exit. People who came out of this place were either rich or powerful. No one would be so nosy as to guess who she was. Plus, Lin Yi called her Young Han. Who would have thought that Su Shirhan was Young Han? Su Shirhan paused and looked at Feng Sanhuang awkwardly. She didn't know if she should tell Lin Yi about this. Was it a secret? Su Shirhan trusted Lin Yi in her heart. It was just that Feng Sanhuang didn't say anything, so she couldn't do anything. Feng Sanhuang was also surprised why Lin Yi was here. Last time Su Shirhan was in trouble, it was Lin Yi who saved her. Feng Sanhuang trusted Lin Yi a lot. It was just that there were outsiders in the lounge, so Feng Sanhuang couldn't say anything. Mr. Lin, long time no see. We did come here for some business, but can we talk in private? Talk outside? Sure, but I'm here to pick someone up. I need to call the person and tell him to wait for me outside. Lin Yi said and took out his phone. Perfect. Someone is here to pick us up. I'll make a call too. Feng Sanhuang nodded and picked up his phone. However, Lin Yi realized that the number he dialed was busy. It was the same for Feng Sanhuang. The user was busy. Helplessly, Lin Yi put down the phone. He guessed that the other party was contacting him as well, so he waited for them to call back. Sanhuang, on the other hand, had the same thought. He hung up the phone and waited for Lin Yi's reply. The call didn't go through. Let's talk on the way, Lin Yi said to Feng Sanhuang. Sure. Feng Sanhuang nodded. He put down his phone and walked towards the door with Lin Yi. After leaving the VIP lounge, they came to the parking lot near the airport. Feng Sanhuang, Su Shirhan, and Wang Sis got on Lin Yi's car first. After they got in, Feng Sanhuang said, Mr. Lin, our trip this time is actually a secret. Even the people in the company don't know about it. Miss Su might be in trouble again. Oh, trouble again? The same group as last time? Lin Yi was dazed. This, more or less, but even more powerful. Feng Sanhuang didn't say much. After all, Feng Tianhu was the one who found them. Although last time it was the Feng family, and this time it was the Dongfang family, there was only one person. If that's the case, then it's a bit dangerous. What's your plan this time? Lin Yi asked. This time, I won't hide it from Mr. Lin. I have a friend here. I'm here to ask for his help to protect Miss Sue's safety, Feng Sanhuang said. This was the excuse he gave to Su Shirhan. All right, I have something else to do during this period of time. If there's nothing else, I'll help you guys out. Lin nodded. Mr. Lin, thank you for your kindness. But the enemy this time is a Sky-class early phase master. I'm afraid you don't have the confidence to deal with him. I don't either. Feng Sanhuang naturally didn't know that Lin Yi was already a Sky-class master. His impression was still the last time he met Lin Yi. Lin Yi's strength was still at the last time he met him. Ah, Sky-class early phase? Lin Yi heard Feng Sanhuang mention the enemy's strength. He only smiled faintly. Sky-class early phase. Lin Yi didn't care anymore. Right, Mr. Lin. We'll talk later. I need to call my friend first. Feng Sanhuang suddenly remembered that Lin Yi didn't reply to him. He quickly took out his phone and was ready to call back. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. Lin Yi also wanted to call his employer to ask if they had arrived. But because it was quiet in the car, it wasn't good for two people to call at the same time. So Lin Yi decided to wait for Feng Sanhuang to finish his call. Chapter 3070. Lin Yi didn't think too much about it. He picked up the phone and saw that it was his employer, so Lin Yi couldn't reject the call. Even if Feng Sanhuang was on the phone, Lin Yi still picked up the phone. Hello, I've arrived at the airport. Have you guys gotten off the plane? After Lin Yi said this, he waited for the other party to respond, but the other party didn't say anything. Feng Sanhuang, on the other hand, had a shocked expression on his face. Because the call was connected, he heard Lin Yi's voice from the other side. However, he was also a little uncertain, so he hesitated for a moment and still said into the microphone, Hello, is this Mr. Lin Yi? This time, not only did Feng Sanhuang hear Lin Yi's voice, but Lin Yi also heard Feng Sanhuang's voice from the other side of the phone. Of course, even if Lin Yi didn't hear it, Feng Sanhuang's Mr. Lin Yi already represented a lot of problems. Lin Yi could immediately understand that the person he was waiting for was Feng Sanhuang, and the superstar he wanted to protect was Su Shirhan. Both of them were stunned. Lin Yi put down the phone, and Feng Sanhuang also put down the phone. Lin Yi was a bit embarrassed, and Feng Sanhuang was also a bit embarrassed, but he was more worried about Su Shirhan's thoughts. He told Su Shirhan that he was asking for help from his friend, but in the end, Lin Yi was right in front of him, and he didn't even know that the person he was asking for help was Lin Yi. No matter how stupid Su Shirhan was, she should be able to figure out the problem, right? Mr. Feng, it's you? Lin Yi smiled bitterly and reached out his hand. Yes, it's me. Feng Sanhuang also smiled bitterly and said, Mr. Lin Yi, why did you change your name to Lin Yi? I'm just accepting a quest. I didn't think too much about it. It's an acquaintance among acquaintances. Lin Yi smiled wryly and said, Back then the poem told me. He asked me to protect his sister, but I thought his sister does not know me. I had told Mr. Feng that my name is Lin Yi, and Shir also knows my name. That's why I did not change my name. But I did not expect the person I am protecting is Miss Su. Brother Feng, are you hiding something from me? Shirhan looked at Feng Sanhuang. Of course. She didn't think that Feng Sanhuang would harm her. After all, the person Feng Sanhuang found was Lin Yi. Su Shirhan knew what kind of person Lin Yi was. There was no way he would help Sanhuang harm people. Lin Yi also said that he was here to protect him, but Lin Yi wasn't Feng Sanhuang's friend at all. And Lin even said that she was someone's sister. What was going on? Wasn't he an orphan? How could he have a brother? So, Su Shirhan subconsciously thought that Feng Sanhuang was hiding something from her. And it was not a small matter. Needless to say, Shirhan's guess was quite accurate. Because Feng Sanhuang was indeed hiding something, but without Feng Tianlin's permission, He didn't dare to tell Shirhan. If Shirhan knew the truth, if she knew that she had a father who didn't dare to acknowledge her, wouldn't she be unhappy? But Feng Sanhuang knew. It wasn't that Feng Tianlin didn't want to acknowledge her, but he couldn't. If he didn't acknowledge her now, there was already so much danger. If he really did acknowledge her, he didn't know how Feng Tianhu would make a fuss about it. So, Feng Sanhuang hesitated and looked at Lin Yi. Although the trouble was caused by him, it was Lin Yi who said it. It seemed that Lin Yi was not only close to Shirhan, but also the young master Feng Shipian. So, it was better for Lin Yi to say it. At least, Feng Tianlin couldn't blame Feng Sanhuang. Seeing Feng Sanhuang's pleading eyes, Lin Yi paused. What do you mean? Could it be that Shirhan didn't know about this? But wasn't this arranged by Feng Shipian? He wouldn't tell his sister, no. Sister? Shirhan's surname was Su. Feng Shipian's surname was Feng. Although Feng Tianlin said that his surname was Su, it was just a made-up surname. Maybe he meant to represent Shirhan. But there might really be a problem here. It was just that Lin Yi didn't know how much Shirhan knew, so he could only test her. Han, I was asked by your father and brother to protect you. But after saying this, Lin Yi regretted it a little, because Lin Yi suddenly remembered that Shirhan told him about her childhood. Shirhan should be Feng Tianlin's illegitimate daughter, and after Shirhan and her mother were attacked, they didn't see Feng Tianlin again. Naturally, Shirhan wouldn't know about Feng Tianlin and Feng Shipian, but at the beginning, Lin Yi didn't think about this. He thought that Feng Tianlin had been in contact with Shirhan. Now that he thought about it, Shirhan didn't mention that she saw her father after she was separated from her mother. You met my father? I have a brother? Shirhan widened her eyes in shock. She looked at Lin Yi. Her body was shaking. She was obviously very emotional. Her breathing became rapid. But in the next moment, cold sweat appeared on Shirhan's forehead. Her breathing became more rapid. She couldn't help but moan. It hurts. My head hurts. Wang sis, give me the medicine. Wang sis was also shocked. What Lin Yi and Feng Sanhuang said in the car today shocked her. Lin Yi knew Shirhan's father, and from the looks of it, Feng Sanhuang also knew about it. Wang sis, who is usually a chatterbox, didn't dare to interrupt today. She didn't know what to say, but Su Shirhan had a headache. She subconsciously grabbed her backpack and started rummaging through it. Every time Shirhan went out, she would let Wang sis bring the painkillers from Miracle Dr. Guan's medical company. No need. Lin Yi shook his head at Wang sis. He reached out and pressed on Shirhan's forehead and chest. Shirhan's emotions gradually returned to normal, but she was still panting. She blushed and said gratefully to Lin Yi, "Thank you." Although Lin Yi cured her headache, he also touched her body. But Shirhan knew that Lin Yi did it for her own good. He didn't want to take advantage of her. No need to thank me. It was me who gave you a headache. I should be the one apologizing. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I didn't think that you didn't know about your father and brother. I thought you already knew. Chapter 3071. Then do you hate him? Lin Yi stayed silent for a while and asked, suddenly hearing that my dad knew about me but didn't want to see me, I did feel a bit uncomfortable, but thinking about it, maybe he has his own difficulties. Su Shirhan smiled at Lin Yi and said, I'm an illegitimate daughter, he has his own life. And at least, Lin Yi, you were hired by dad and brother to protect me. At least they care about me. I've never met my brother before, and he treats me like this. What else do I have to hate? On the contrary, I'm very happy today. You let me know some things I've always wanted to know. My dad is fine, that's great. Okay, then do you want to see him? At this point, Lin Yi knew that he couldn't hide it anymore, so he asked. But from Lin Yi's point of view, Su Shirhan was still calm. She was already an adult. She could face everything rationally. He doesn't want to see me, of course he has his difficulties. It doesn't matter if I don't see him or not. Although I really want to see him, I know he's fine, so I'm at ease. Su Shirhan smiled bitterly and said, "To be honest, I don't have much of an impression of him anymore." Lin Yi nodded and looked at Feng Sanhuang. "Feng Sanhuang, you don't have anything else to say? I've said a lot of what needs to be said. You can fill in the rest." "Okay." Feng Sanhuang was helpless. Lin Yi had said so much already. It didn't matter if he said it or not. Even if Feng Tianlin blamed him, Lin Yi would be there, so he told the truth. "Miss Su, I'm a bodyguard sent by your father to protect you. In fact, Master has always cared about you. These years, your path has been smooth sailing. It's also because of Master's help. There are people with bad intentions. I'll help you solve it. I will help you deal with it. If there is pressure from the company, Master will use his connections to settle it. You should be able to feel it too. So that's how it is." Su Shirhan nodded. All these years, Su Shirhan herself felt that her path to stardom was too smooth. She didn't encounter any unspoken rules and rejected some of the company's activities. The company didn't freeze her. Instead, they welcomed her with a smile. So Su Shirhan's fame grew. Of course, it couldn't be denied that Su Shirhan's hard work and talent played a part in it. But without someone helping her in the dark, it wouldn't have been so smooth. After all, Su Shirhan wasn't the only one with hard work and talent, but only Su Shirhan succeeded. This meant that there were some problems. Nowadays, most of the celebrities in the company relied on their bodies or their family's influence to get to where they were. Su Shirhan was very clear about this. Although there were some who achieved success through their own hard work, there weren't many. Su Shirhan was the most successful among them. This could be considered a miracle, but now it seemed that it wasn't. It was inevitable. "Then, what's my father's name?" Shirhan asked. He. Feng Sanhuang looked at Lin Yi. He didn't know if he should tell Su Shirhan Feng Tianlin's name or not. His name is Feng Tianlin. His background is the ancient Feng family, an ancient aristocratic family. "You should have heard of this name before," Lin Yi said to Su Shirhan. "It's a higher level of hidden aristocratic family." "Ancient." Shirhan nodded, but she didn't seem to know much about it. "So, my surname isn't Su. My surname is Feng." "Oh, right. Do you know your mother's name?" "Perhaps. I can help you look for her." Lin Yi asked. Feng Tianlin had been looking for her, but he might not be able to find her. After all, Feng Tianlin didn't dare to look for her openly. Among the Feng family's people, one of them might be Feng Tianhu's trusted aide. If Feng Tianhu found out, then things would be even worse. But Lin Yi was different. Lin Yi could ask Gu Xian to help him look. Gu Xian was someone who knew about the ancient world. Maybe he could find her. "I don't know." Shirhan shook her head and sighed. "At that time I was too young. I don't remember my mother's name." "Then forget it. I'll ask Uncle Feng myself when I have the chance." Lin Yi nodded. "Today's matter is settled. Han, since everyone is so familiar with each other, let's go back to my villa. Yao Yao and Shu miss you too." "And okay." Shirhan breathed out in relief. It was Lin Yi's villa. There was no problem. Shirhan, Mengyao, and Yushu got along well. Everyone was familiar with each other. It wouldn't be inconvenient for them to live together. On the way, Shirhan was still worried about these things, but in a blink of an eye it was all gone. Feng Sanhuang, on the other hand, was worried. He wanted to find a chance to call Feng Tianlin and tell him what happened. What happened was out of Feng Sanhuang's control. These things were supposed to be kept secret. Now that Shirhan knew about it, it was all because of his mistake. Although this mistake could be said to be a combination of many factors. He didn't know that Lin Yi was Lin Yi, and he just happened to know Lin Yi. In the end, he recognized Lin Yi at the airport and called Ling Yi, which made Shirhan suspicious. At the end of the day, he was also responsible for this. If he had made an agreement with Ling Yi beforehand and told each other their names and clothes, this kind of mistake wouldn't have happened. However, it had already happened and no one could change it. The car drove towards the direction of the villa. Mengyao and Yushu were sitting on the sofa, whispering to each other. Yao Yao sis. You must like Shield bro, don't deny it. Yushu said. How is that possible? I don't like Shield bro, Meng Yao said. Look, you're talking nonsense. You also call him Shield bro. Yushu didn't believe it. I didn't. Isn't it because of you? When Meng Yao said this, she asked herself in her heart, did she like Lin Yi? They probably liked each other. But was there any possibility between the two of them? Denial after denial, misunderstandings after misunderstandings. Meng Yao and Lin Yi's relationship was only maintained at the level of friends, not taking it to the next step, seeing other girls around her becoming Lin Yi's girlfriends one after another. It was impossible for Meng Yao to not have any thoughts. Chapter 3072. If Lin Yi didn't take the initiative to say it, she wouldn't either. Even if Lin Yi accepted her, it'd still be a charity, wouldn't it? With Lin Yi and Meng Yao's relationship, Meng Yao believed that as long as she said it, Lin Yi would accept her out of consideration for her face. But this wasn't what the miss wanted. She wanted a love that didn't need to be spectacular, but she didn't need charity. Why could Tang Yin, Xiao Xiao, Wang Xinyan, and Sun Jingyi? Was it because Tang Yin was pretty, Xiao Xiao was proactive, and Wang Xinyan and Sun Jingyi were helpful to Lin Yi? But she wasn't any worse than Tang Yin. Damn, Lin Yi, would it kill you to chase me? The miss was touched by Yushu's words today, but she suddenly realized that she cared about Lin Yi and hoped that Lin Yi would chase her. As for what she said before about not liking him, it was just a lie. It might have been true in the beginning, but as time went by, Meng Yao couldn't tell if she really didn't like him, or if it was just an excuse to numb herself. Could it be because she was too familiar with Lin Yi? There were many times when a man and a woman who were too familiar with each other couldn't become lovers. But she and Lin Yi weren't that familiar either, right? At least, she didn't know what he was thinking, and Lin Yi didn't know what she was thinking either. At that thought, Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Big tits, can't you be a little more hardworking? I said I don't like you, and you're not going to help me? Where's your usual smarts? Dropping the ball at a critical moment. Stupid, unlucky Shu. Oh, Yao Yao, why are you glaring at me? I'll stop talking, all right? Yushu shrunk her neck and shut her mouth after seeing Meng Yao's scary look. Oh. Meng Yao wanted nothing more than to kick Yushu into outer space. Since when did I forbid you from talking? I mean, say it a little harder. You stupid Shu, you're pissing me off. Yushu looked at Meng Yao's furious face and found it a little strange. Yao Yao, I already said it. Why are you still scowling at me? Then, Shu, I won't make this kind of joke anymore, okay? No. Meng Yao finally gathered her courage and roared. The roar scared Yushu so much that she jumped up from the sofa with a whoosh, her hair almost standing on end. But just when Yushu was wondering what that no meant, and why Yao Yao was so angry, the sound of a car came from the villa. Meng Yao roared. He used up all the courage in his body, but he didn't want to explain anything to Yushu anymore. He stood up. Lin Yi is back. Let's go out and take a look. I wonder which celebrity it is. Is it what we like? We just like Sister Shirhan. We don't like anyone else, Yushu said. Then let's go take a look. He's Lin Yi's guest, after all, Meng Yao said as she walked towards the door. Yushu saw Meng Yao leave. She followed behind her and walked out of the villa with her. At this time, Lin Yi's car also drove into the villa. Lin Yi got out of the car first, and at this time, the other doors of the car also opened. Su Shirhan also got out of the car from the front passenger seat. Ah! Meng Yao saw Su Shirhan and suddenly froze. Lin Yi, didn't you go to pick someone up? Why did you bring Sister Shirhan back? Hee, Yao Yao, the person I want to protect is Su Shirhan. She is Feng Shirshan's sister. I just found out about the specific situation. Let's go in and talk. Lin Yi also smiled bitterly and spread his hands. To be honest, he was shocked at the beginning. Okay. Meng Yao nodded and let out a sigh of relief. She was happy that she would be able to live with the star she liked in the future, but she was also a little disappointed. With Su Shirhan's addition, Lin Yi's attention would be on other girls again. When would he notice her again? When this thought came up, it scared the miss. I actually care about Lin Yi so much? Meng Yao looked at Yushu from the corner of her eyes. She was a little annoyed. Big breasts and no brains. It was right. She dropped the ball at the critical moment. Yushu felt wronged under Meng Yao's angry gaze. She used to try her best to matchmake Meng Yao and Lin Yi, but she was scolded every time. Now that she didn't dare to matchmake them, she was dissatisfied. How could she be so unlucky? The group entered Lin Yi's villa. Although Wang Sis was a strict person, she had a good impression of Lin Yi, especially since Lin Yi's medicine company solved Su Shirhan's problem. Lin Yi was Su Shirhan's savior. She was still very polite to Lin Yi. Mr. Lin, it's not a problem for Miss Su to stay here, but it's not convenient for me to stay here. Wang Sis also visited Lin Yi's villa. She realized that Lin Yi's villa wasn't too big. There weren't that many rooms. There were 2 rooms upstairs, one for Su Shirhan and the other for Meng Yao and Yushu. There were 3 rooms downstairs, one for Lin Yi, one for San Huang, and one for Wu Qintian. There were no empty rooms. Therefore, Sister Wang was also very reasonable and said, "Why don't I move out to live? There's a hotel nearby. It's not bad. It's fine." Qintian walked out of his room at this time. He usually practiced in his room, and although he couldn't practice on his own after Lin Yi leveled up his practitioner's arts, he was still a dual practitioner. After leveling up his spiritual arts, he needed to improve his physical arts as well, and so he practiced whenever he had nothing to do, and only came out when he had something to do. "Mr. Feng, can we stay in the same room? We're both men, it's fine." "Sure." San Huang didn't have any objections. "You're a practitioner too, right? At night, I will mainly meditate and cultivate. The 2 of us can also learn from each other and discuss cultivation matters. Then it's settled." Lin Yi nodded. "Han, you, Yao Yao, and Shu can stay upstairs. Wang Sis and Feng Bro can stay downstairs." After arranging the rooms, Lin Yi told Meng Yao and Yushu about Su Shirhan's situation. Meng Yao and Shu sympathized with Su Shirhan's childhood. They didn't know that behind a superstar, there are so many unknown tragedies. San Huang, on the other hand, found a place with no one and called Tianlin. Chapter 3073. Yes, but, Master, there's a small problem here. Feng San Huang smiled bitterly. "Miss Su knows about your situation and identity." "Knows? What's going on?" Feng Tianlin was taken aback. He immediately became nervous and asked in a deep voice, "What's going on? How did Xiao Han know?" "It's like this." Feng San Huang didn't dare to hide it and told Feng Tianlin everything. He didn't dare to push the blame to Lin Yi. He wasn't that kind of person. "Oh." Feng Tianlin heard San Huang's words and was slightly taken aback. He didn't expect things to turn out this way. However, he couldn't blame San Huang for this. If he had to blame someone, he could only blame himself for not telling San Huang that Lin Yi was Lin Yi. However, Feng Tianlin didn't think that much. But when he heard Su Shirhan's reaction, he let out a sigh of relief. He was comforted. Feng Tianlin had been hiding the truth from Su Shirhan all these years because he didn't dare to tell her. He was afraid that if he told her the truth, she would hate him and ignore him. After all, when Su Shirhan's mother was hurt, Feng Tianlin had a big responsibility. He didn't protect Su Shirhan and her mother well, causing Su Shirhan to be separated from her mother. So, Feng Tianlin could only do things for Su Shirhan behind the scenes. But he didn't dare to acknowledge her. This wasn't what Feng San Huang had guessed. But if Feng Tianlin and Su Shirhan acknowledged each other, it would make Dongfeng Xiaocui unhappy and give Feng Tianhu the opportunity to take revenge. because whether it was Dongfang Xiaotsue or Feng Tianhu, they already knew about Su Shirhan's village. Only Feng Tianlin's heart couldn't get over it. Plus, Feng Tianlin was a cowardly person. With his current position, he couldn't guarantee that Grandpa Feng would agree to Su Shirhan's return. If he didn't agree, then Feng Tianlin would be even more embarrassed. So he had been working hard all these years, but his personality determined that he wasn't the material to be the head of a family. He would endure, but he wasn't decisive. It was a far cry from Feng's poem. Feng Shipian knew how to endure patiently and make a decisive decision at a crucial moment. This was also the reason why he recognized Lin Yi as his boss without any hesitation and even mentioned it during the family meeting. In comparison, Feng Shirshan was a better candidate for the position of patriarch. As for Feng Nitian, he was all brawn and no brains, arrogant and despotic. This kind of person would still have room for growth if he didn't meet a strong enemy. However, if he was crippled because he was showing off, then he wouldn't have any chance. In fact, this was all based on luck. Even though the local tyrant had been crippled, he was still able to act tough. But he was lucky. Moreover, he had realized his mistake and turned back. If Nitian was smart enough, he would repent at home. He didn't want to argue with Feng Shipian anymore. Maybe he could plead with Lin Yi and Lin Yi could cure him. However, he didn't repent, so he couldn't blame others. Arid Triad. It's good to talk about this. Feng Tianlin didn't hate Su Shirhan. He felt gratified and said, "When this is over, I'll go see Xiaohan myself." "Yes, master." San Huang saw that Feng Tianlin wasn't too angry and breathed a sigh of relief. And so, Su Shirhan stayed in Lin Yi's villa. Lin Yi, after receiving 2 large sums of money, gave it to Fatty Lai. Fatty Lai's medical company also received some relief. Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief. Luckily, this idiot Zhen in June came to give him money. However, if he wanted Xiaoka's orphanage and House Lu to return to normal, it all depended on Lu Jinghan. The genius girl of House Lu? Lin Yi only saw her once at the meeting of the noble houses. She was wearing a veil at that time, so Lin Yi didn't pay much attention to her. But Han Jingjing praised her so much. It seemed that Lu Jinghan had some capabilities. At least Han Jingjing, the little genius, wouldn't push a mediocre person. He planned on going to see Lu Jinghan after he was done with the things on hand. In fact, even if the ancient house Dongfang had decided to deal with Su Shirhan, they couldn't do it immediately. After all, there were rules and regulations for the ancient world to act against people from the common world. It wasn't allowed at all. Although the ancient house Dongfang was strong, they didn't dare to go against the rules. They had to find a suitable excuse. Only with an excuse would it be convenient to act. Of course, this excuse couldn't have anything to do with Su Shirhan. Although Su Shirhan was Feng Tianlin's illegitimate daughter, it wasn't made public. House Feng hadn't acknowledged their ancestors yet. If they made a move against Su Shirhan, it would be the same as making a move against people from the common world. This was a provocation against the rules of the ancient world. Unless the house Dongfang sent a few death warriors out, they wouldn't admit it even if they were found out. But that was impossible. If Dongfang Bourgeois wanted to go himself, then it wouldn't be as simple as not admitting it and hiding their identity. Therefore, the house Dongfang had been looking for an excuse these few days. The person Dongfang Jinxing sent this time was Dongfang Cha, an early-stage heaven-class master from the house Dongfang. She was an experienced master from the house Dongfang, an expert in kidnapping and extortion. The house Dongfang wasn't as clean as it looked on the surface. An ancient family like this, if they didn't get some dirty money, how could they support a family like this? There were so many masters in the house Dongfang, but they didn't have any source of income. The amount of medicine and pills they spent every year was not a small amount. Reporting to young master, I have just received some very bad news. Elder Dongfang Jian is dead. Just when Dongfang Jinxing was looking for an excuse to enter the common world, a disciple of the house Dongfang ran over and said while panting, "What did you say?" Dongfang Jingxing jumped up from his seat in shock. Looking at the disciple, he asked, "Dongfang Jian is dead? Didn't Dongfang Jian go to the Cultivator Trade Association to look for herbs to improve Buqiu's meridians? How did he die?" "Young master, this is the news from the Cultivator Trade Association. Elder Dongfang Jian is dead." The disciple said carefully, "What happened? How did Dongfang Jian die? Could it be that he was killed by someone?" Dongfang Jingxing's face became extremely gloomy. "Tell me in detail." Chapter 3074. I'm not too sure about that. According to Vice President Ouyang of the Cultivator Trade Association, Elder Dongfang Jian got into a conflict with someone when he was searching for medicinal ingredients. The other party was even stronger than Elder Dongfang Jian, so he killed Elder Dongfang Jian. The disciple told the story from beginning to end. Who was it? Who was stronger than Dongfang Jian? After all, Dongfang Jian was a peak mid-heaven rank powerhouse. Who could kill him? Was it a group attack? Dongfang Jingxing asked. I'm not sure about that. Vice Chairman Ouyang said that when the association arrived, Elder Dongfang Jian was already dead, but they didn't see who did it. The disciple said, "Didn't see it? Didn't you ask them to investigate?" Dongfang Jingxing was in a good mood, but now he was in a bad mood. Dongfang Burwa was going to find Su Shirhan, and Dongfang Jingxing was happy about it. He could help Dongfang Xiaotsue and make his son happy, so why not? Even when Dongfang Xiaotsue called to cancel, Dongfang Jingxing knew that deep in her heart, she still hoped that something would happen to Su Shirhan, but because of Feng Tianlin, he couldn't do that. And so Dongfang Jingxing strongly rejected it, and Dongfang Xiaotsue and Feng Tianlin couldn't do anything about it. But now Dongfang Jian was actually dead. This was simply a wake-up call. Although the Dongfang family was powerful, they weren't filled with heaven rankers. Dongfang Jingxing was a peak mid-heaven ranker, while Dongfang Jingxing was only a late heaven ranker. This was the second person from Dongfang Jingxing to die. His other son, Dongfang Biru, was even more talented than Dongfang Jingxing, and Dongfang Jingxing was planning to groom him as the future of Dongfang Jingxing. But who would have thought that he would be killed by Zhang Naipeo in the test? An everyday sect. Dongfang Jingxing didn't dare to retaliate. They were the typical type of people who bullied the weak and feared the strong. This was different from Fiery Mountain. Dongfang Jingxing saw that they weren't as strong as the everyday sect, so they didn't bother them at all. Of course, this was also because Dongfang Biru died in the Sky Elixir Sex test. If it wasn't the Sky Elixir Sex test, Dongfang Jingxing would have demanded an explanation. Even if he wasn't a match for him, he should at least give him some compensation, right? Fortunately, Dongfang Jingxing's other son, Dongfang Bewei, was not weak. Although he was a bit of a playboy, he was still talented. Now he was a peak late phase Earth class master. As long as his meridians were improved, breaking through to Sky class wouldn't be a problem. Stepping into Sky class peak late phase wouldn't be a dream either. He, Dongfang Jingxing, had two good sons. This was also his pride. Now that Dongfang Jian had died while collecting herbs for Dongfang Burwa, Dongfang Jingxing had to avenge him no matter what. Otherwise, who would work for the Dongfang family in the future? Thinking of this, Dongfang Jingxing waved his hand and motioned the disciple to leave first. Then he walked quickly to the room of the current head of the Dongfang family, Dongfang Badeo. The Dongfang family had 3 heaven rank, peak, late phase experts. Both are in retreat to break through the great perfection realm. One of them is the old man of Dongfang Badeo. The other is the son of Dongfang Badeo, Dongfang Jingxing's younger brother, Dongfang Yinxing and Dongfang Beli, who had died in the heavenly elixir sex trial. With the existence of 3 heaven rank peak late phase experts, the strength of the Dongfang family can be imagined. It is quite tyrannical, and the old man of Dongfang is also quite overbearing, as his name suggests. Once he breaks through to the great perfection, I am afraid that he will definitely find the everyday sect to ask for an explanation. But now he dare not. Dongfang Jingxing knocked on the door, and the voice of the old man of Dongfang came from inside. Who is it? What's the matter? Father, it's me, Jingxing. Dongfang Jingxing replied. Oh, Jingxing, come in. Dongfang Badeo nodded. Father, something happened. Something happened to elder Dongfang Jian. As soon as Dongfang Jingxing entered the door, he said quickly, What? Something happened to Dongfang Jian? What happened? What happened? Dongfang Badeo was shocked and asked quickly, It's like this. Dongfang Jingxing quickly told the old man what the disciple had said before. Cultivator, trading association, conflict with others. Dongfang Badeo frowned. Jingxing, have you called the Cultivator Trading Association personally to ask? Not yet. I came to ask Father first to see if you have any instructions. Dongfang Jingxing said. Well, I'll ask the Cultivator Trading Association personally. Dongfang Badeo also knew that with Dongfang Jingxing's weight, he probably wouldn't be able to ask anything, so he was going to call and ask in person. After all, the Cultivator Trading Association was a very powerful existence. The president, there was already a heaven stage master, and several honorary presidents were even masters of the peak late stage of heaven stage great perfection. How could the Dongfang family dare to act rashly? Yinqing, bring me my phone. Dongfang Badeo said to Dongfang Yinqing on the side. Yes, father. Although Dongfang Yinqing was stronger than Dongfang Jingxing, he did not have a family, nor did he have children, and he was unwilling to take care of the family's trifles. He liked to cultivate every day, so he did not compete with Dongfang Jingxing. Moreover, because he had no children, he was more partial to Dongfang Bujiang and Dongfang Buqiao, like the old man of Dongfang. He wanted to train these two to be the successors of the Dongfang family, but he did not expect one to die. Now he was preparing to train the other. Elder Dongfang Jian was killed while looking for medicinal materials for him. How could Dongfang Badeo tolerate it? Hello? Is this President Li? Dongfang Badeo took the phone and dialed the phone of President Li, the president of the Cultivator Trading Association. It's me, the old man of Dongfang Badeo. What's the matter? President Li also had Dongfang Badeo's phone number, so he said politely, It's like this, President Li. An elder of our Dongfang family died in your Cultivator Trading Association branch. Is there any news on your side? Dongfang Badeo asked. This is Vice President Ouyang's responsibility. We reported the situation to your Dongfang clan. I didn't ask too much about the specifics. President Li said, If your Dongfang clan wants to take revenge, I think it'll be a little difficult. Chapter 3075. The Cultivator Trading Association usually doesn't have an invitation letter. As long as you have enough strength, you can participate. I think you know that Master Dongfang, and we didn't know the identity of the murderer in advance. We didn't even know who the murderer was and how many people were. We didn't know the identity of Dongfang Jian either. It was only after several days of investigation that we learned his identity and informed your Dongfang family immediately. President Li said, And now, you have no clues at all. How can you talk about revenge? President Li, I always feel that this matter is a bit strange. It should be impossible to say that Vice President Ouyang knows nothing about it, right? Heaven Stage Masters fight such a big battle he doesn't go and see? If he is really afraid of death and hides, this is a bit unreasonable, right? How can such a greedy and cowardly person be the vice president? Dongfang Badeo wanted to find a breakthrough from this Vice President Ouyang, so in the end he just wanted President Li to relent and let the Dongfang family go directly to Vice President Ouyang for questioning. Master Dongfang, to be honest, I also have some doubts in my heart about this matter. Either Vice President Ouyang knows and does not report, or he is incompetent as a vice president, but I can't do anything about it. President Li smiled bitterly and said, I'm not afraid to tell you, Master Dongfang, although Vice President Ouyang is my subordinate, Vice President Ouyang has an uncle who is the Supreme Honorary President of our Cultivator Trading Association, and he is the second Supreme President. Even I don't dare to do anything to him. It turns out to be like this. Dongfang Badeo nodded. Fortunately, he didn't act rashly. Otherwise, if he went directly to deal with this Vice President Ouyang, it would be like poking the hornet's nest. The second Supreme Honorary President. That must be a great perfection master with the strength of the peak late stage of heaven stage. So, we can't do anything about it. If Master Dongfang wants to find the murderer, you can secretly investigate it yourself. President Li said, Okay, thank you, President Li. Dongfang Badeo nodded. It seemed that this matter really had to be investigated by the Dongfang family themselves. But in this way, Dongfang Badeo found a reason to let the masters of his family enter the secular world, to investigate the cause of Dongfang Jian's death. Sending a young master heir and a family elder was not a big battle, and others would not doubt anything. As for some minor conflicts with the people of the secular world during the investigation, no one would say anything. After all, these things were inevitable. After hanging up the phone, Dongfang Badeo gave the phone to Dongfang Yinxing, then looked up at Dongfang Jingxing and said, Jingxing this time let Bully and Dongfang Cha openly investigate the cause of Dongfang Jian's death. In secret, they could do whatever they wanted. In this way, it wouldn't be considered as violating the ancient agreement. But first, we must inform the Heavenly Elixir sect and the other big sects of our purpose before we take action, so that no one can use it against us. Yes, Father, I understand. Dongfang Jingxing's eyes lit up, and he understood the meaning of Dongfang Badeo. This way, they could kill two birds with one stone. They could investigate the cause of Dongfang Jian's death, and Dongfang Broa could deal with Su Shihan. All right, you may leave. I'm going to continue cultivating. Dongfang Badeo said, I have touched the barrier of great perfection. It is estimated that in the recent 6 months, there will be some progress. At that time, our Dongfang family will have a master of great perfection in the late stage of heaven stage, and we can be ranked among the first-class ancient sects. Okay, Father, then you and brother continue to cultivate. If you can all break through, then our Dongfang family will be even more powerful. Dongfang Jingxing said quickly. Silver Star is still a little bit worse. If he didn't lose and fall, I'm afraid his strength is not inferior to Silver Star. AI, he is the genius of our Dongfang family, and he fell like this. Humph. Wait for this old man to break through to the peak of heaven stage, late stage. Then I will go to the everyday and everyday sect to settle accounts. I must let them give me an explanation. Dongfang Badeo sneered. Yes, now we can only swallow our anger. Dongfang Jingxing nodded. Jingxing, your strength is actually not bad. You practice well, and it should not be a problem to raise your strength to the peak of heaven stage, late stage. You just think too much about the family all day long. Your aptitude is not much worse than Silver Star. Dongfang Badeo said. Okay, Father, I will work hard. Dongfang Jingxing smiled bitterly. Before, he wanted to be the young master, but after becoming the young master, he realized how much the young master delayed his cultivation. Of course, if Dongfang Silver Star did not take the initiative to give up his position and compete with Dongfang Jingxing, then it is estimated that Dongfang Jingxing would not think so. Things that are too easy to get are not cherished. If it was like the ancient Feng family, I am afraid it would be another kind of situation. After leaving Dongfang Badeo's room, Dongfang Jingxing went to prepare for Dongfang Broa and Dongfang Cha to enter and leave the secular world. With the attitude that good food is not late, they must be fully prepared. so as not to be criticized by people when they enter and leave the secular world at will. The Dongfang family is not strong enough to ignore others. If Dongfang Badeo and Dongfang Silverstar are successful in promoting to the peak of heaven stage late stage, then the Dongfang family will not be afraid. Dark Night Palace. The great elder's face was extremely gloomy because this morning she received bad news. Palace Master Yi Wan, when taking the Qi gathering pill to break through to heaven stage, did not get the inheritance. That is to say, Yi Wan failed to get the inheritance. It must be known that Yi Wan, who has already lost her virginity, wants to accept the inheritance, and the moment of breaking through to heaven stage is the best time to understand the inheritance. If there is no opportunity to understand the inheritance at this time, then there is basically no hope in the next few years. So the great elder's heart was broken at this moment, and the dream of the Dark Night Palace was also broken. What the great elder is counting on is that she and Yi Wan become the peak of heaven stage late stage at the same time, and then become the participants of the heaven stage island plan, and then set foot on the heavenly way together. In this way, the strength of the Dark Night Palace will have a qualitative leap. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.